National pride, unity.
Na na na. Hey, stand up, Barbadians. Let me take back we respect. Time to rise up, time to step. We keeping the bees in check, 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 check. Keeping the bees in check. No more thing on the people neck. We standing strong, we won't defect. Barbados, rise up, show respect. Check, check. Keeping the bees in check. From St. Lucie straight down to St. Philip West. We guarding the high, we ready, we respect. Friends of democracy, keeping bees in check. But we hearing the truth. People waking up from the long time snooze. No more pollen talk. Time to inspect the whole life shaking when we keeping bees in check. Keeping the bees in check. No more sting on the people neck. We standing strong, we won't defect. Barbados rise up, show respect. Eh. Keeping the bees in check. From St. Lucie straight down to St. Philip West. We guarding the high, we ready, we said. Friends of democracy, keeping bees in check. No more flying around the world while the island stress. No more leaving poor people in a hot mess. We want real honey, not fancy speeches to impress. We want justice sweet, no, not bitter progress. So let we march, let we chant, let we reconnect. From the youth to the elders, we all interject. This country deserve love, not constant neglect. And we right here steady, keeping bees in check. Keep me bees in check, keeping me bees in check. No more sting on the people neck. We rising up, we won't defect. Barbados strong show, intellect. Eh. Keeping the bees in check. Every parish, every district, yes, a new kind of buzz, a new project. Friends of democracy, keeping bees in check. Hey, hold the line, Barbados. If the bees can't do the job, we go regulate the hive. Keeping the bees in check. Keeping the bees in check. Check, 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 check.
You won't stop working as you get through. You won't stop working as you get what you want. Friends of democracy, telling truth. Karina say that you've only working on. You won't stop working as you get through. You won't stop working as you get what you want. Friends of democracy, telling truth. Barbados 2026, we're forging our destiny. Hey! From the hills to the sea, we rise as one. Hands to the work, the new day's begun. Voices of courage, hearts full of flame. We're building a future in the people's name.
From Christchurch to St. James Shore, we open the doors to so much more. From St. George Plains to St. Peter's Line, the call is clear. This is our time.
No more waiting, no more pain.
The people's power will lead again.
Stand together, strong and free. We're writing our own history. We rise, we're forging a destiny. We fight for truth and unity. The people's voice, the people's dream. It's time to lead, it's time to be seen. We rise, friends of democracy. Hear the drum, hear the call. Justice and freedom belong to all. From St. Lucie winds to St. Philip South,
wonderful good night to all. A wonderful good night to all. Tonight. A wonderful good night to all. A wonderful good night to all. It's indeed a privilege to be here on the first day of February. I really believe that tonight is a significant night. Tonight will be a memorable night in Barbados because of what God is going to do through the Friends of Democracy. I just want to acknowledge the candidates. I just want to acknowledge Madam President and the General Secretary of the Friends of Democracy. Could we just take a time to give them a round of applause? Those of you who can stand, please stand. We're about to open in prayer. Father God, we just want to give you thanks, oh God. We thank you, oh God, for being mighty, Lord God. We thank you, oh God, for being marvelous, Lord God. Father God, we just want to thank you for
Find out. So if you have to do it over. You'll find out if you have to do it over.
Keeping the bees in check. Oh, na na na. Hey, stand up, Barbadians. Let me take back we respect. Time to rise up, time to step. We keeping the bees in check. Check, 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 check. Keeping the bees in check. No more thing on the people neck. We standing strong, we won't defect. Barbados, rise up, show respect. Check, check. Keeping the bees in check. From St. Lucie straight down to St. Philip West. We guard in the high, we ready, we respect. Friends of democracy, keeping bees in check. Buzz, 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 but we hearing the truth. People waking up from the long time snooze, no more pollen talk. Time to inspect the whole life shaking when we keeping bees in check. Keeping the bees in check. No more sting on the people neck. We standing strong, we won't defect. Barbados, rise up, show respect. Eh. Keeping the bees in check. From St. Lucie straight down to St. Philip West. We guarding the high, we ready, we said. Friends of democracy, keeping bees in check. No more flying around the world while the island stress. No more leaving poor people in a hot mess. We want real honey, not fancy speeches to impress. We want justice sweet, no, not bitter progress. So let we march, let we chant, let we reconnect. From the youth to the elders, we all interject. This country deserve love, not constant neglect. And we right here steady, keeping bees in check. Keep me bees in check, keeping the bees in check. No more sting on the people neck. We rising up, we won't defect. Barbados strong, us. If the bees can't do the job, we go regulate the hive. Keeping the bees in check, keeping the bees in check, 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 keeping the bees in check.
People say F, O, D. I'm friends of democracy. Barbados 2026, we're forging our destiny. Hey. From the hills to the sea, we rise as one. Hands to the work, the new day's begun. Voices of courage, hearts full of flame. We're building a future in the people's name.
From Christchurch to St. James Shore, we open the doors to so much more. From St. George Plains to St. Peter's Line, the call is clear. This is our time.
No more waiting, no more pain.
The people's power will lead again.
Stand together, strong and free. We're writing our own history. We rise, we're forging our destiny. We fight for truth and unity. The people's voice, the people's dream. It's time to lead, it's time to be seen. We rise, friends of democracy. Hear the drum, hear the call. Justice and freedom belong to all. From St. Lucie winds to St. Philip South, hope is alive in every mouth.
From St. John to St. Andrew Hills, we rise with pride, unbending wills. From St. Joseph's Heart to St. Thomas' Side, the dream is ours with people's pride.
Hope is rising, bright and clear. The time we waited that for is here. Every hand, every heart. This is where the change will start. We rise, we're forging our destiny. We fight for truth and unity. The people's voice, the people's dream. It's time to lead, it's time to be seen. We rise, friends of democracy. For our people, and for our land. Together we're stronger. We take a stand.
From Bridgewater streets to St. Michael Pride,
Where borders rise, the people say.
now's our moment, now's our day. Friends of democracy, lead the
We rise, we're forging our destiny. We fight from John Street's hope and unity. From every voice to every dream, this is the people's victory. We rise, friends of democracy.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's a guy called Mr. Murphy, head of Murphy's Law. Sometimes he intervenes. So, a very good night to you once again. And let me welcome Bush Hall Main Road and Avenues, Savannah Road and adjoining avenues, Park Road Avenues, Bush Hall Yard Gap, Waterford Housing Area. Friends gathered here tonight at Bush Hall Main Road and those watching on our stream. A good evening and welcome to the candidates and manifesto presentation of the Friends of Democracy. I'm Steve Blackett, your Master of Ceremonies. We are presenting tonight under the theme, Keeping the Bees in Check. Our campaign is predicated on the firm decision of the Friends of Democracy to establish itself as the leading opposition party in Barbados, and all you will hear from us tonight will be actioned by a potent, robust, effective, official opposition formed from the election of our 12 candidates in 12 constituencies, and we're urging you to vote for the Friends of Democracy. A party who, from its inception, established its mission to agitate, advocate, and pursue programs and policies for the continued development of Barbados with a vision to rebuild the trust of the electorate on the pillars of integrity, democracy, transparency, such that the Friends of Democracy becomes your choice of party from now onward. Tonight, you will see 12 experienced, tried and tested contestants mixed with fresh, bright, visionary and enterprising young candidates to ensure the project called democracy is re-established and fortified, ensuring that balance returns to the House of Assembly to operate in you, the people of Barbados' best interests. You will also hear 35 policy positions of this party that will be championed by the opposition benches, pressuring, enjoining, and urging with vigor and vitality the government to adopt these policies, or by placing them on the Parliament's agenda through private member resolutions or any other mechanism available to an opposition. This Friends of Democracy will participate actively in the governing and governance of Barbados from the opposition benches as the guardians, protectors, and sentinels, and the watchdogs of the people, standing always in the vanguard for you, the people of Barbados, keeping the bees in check and keeping the D's in the political wilderness. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to introduce to you the President of the Friends of Democracy, to introduce her other 11 candidates of the party. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure. Please help me in welcoming the President of the Friends of Democracy, Katrina Goodridge, attorney at law.
Good night, my fellow Barbadians. Tonight, it is with great pleasure that I introduce to you the following candidates of the Friends of Democracy political party. Introducing to you tonight, Sherlyn Davis, a tradesman, entrepreneur, and small business advocate. From plumbing to transportation, car rentals to online marketing, he embodies practical solutions and entrepreneurial spirit, a voice for workers, small businesses, and everyday Bajans in St. Lucie. So give a round of applause for Sherlyn Davis.
Yeah. It's your boy Sherlyn Davis on the track, baby. Yeah. Let me tell you this, let me say it back again.
Introducing to you tonight, Stephanie Williams, a community leader, youth advocate, and champion for child development. With years of service in parent-teacher associations and charitable initiatives, she is committed to being a voice for the voiceless, compassionate, determined, and ready to serve St. James North. So give a round of applause for Stephanie Williams.
David! Stephanie Williams, Stephanie Williams. Stephanie Williams.
Yeah, remember the name. St. James North.
Friends of Democracy. Hey.
Introducing to you, Carrie Thomas. He is faith-driven, creative, and determined, an educator, mentor, and cultural advocate who has spent nearly 2 decades serving with integrity. He's the founder of Nuri Worship. He uplifts young musicians and empowers youth across Barbados, bringing vision and perseverance to St. James Central. Give a round of applause to Kerry Thomas.
Yeah. Friends of Democracy, St. James Central, stand up. New Kerry in town.
Introducing to you Matthew Thorne, a pastor, philanthropist, and entrepreneur, the 3rd Vice President of the Friends of Democracy political party. He has spent over a decade counseling, mentoring, and serving communities. Guided by purpose, he believes the greatest tragedy is a life without meaning. Serving St. James North with faith and strength, Mr. Matthew Thorne.
Keeping the bees in check.
Give him a round of applause.
Na na na. Hey, stand up, Barbadians. Let me take back we respect. Time to rise up, time to step. We keeping the bees in check. Check, check.
And a correction to that, he serves in St. James South, Barbados. St. James South. So give Matthew Thorne another round of applause. Introducing to you Bertnell Ricardo Harrison. Discipline, justice, and service define this man. 1st Vice President of Friends of Democracy, Justice of Peace, and attorney at law. With over 40 years in the Barbados Defense Force, trained in peacemaking, in peacekeeping across the region, he brings strength and wisdom to St. Michael North. Please welcome Ricardo Harrison.
We're going with Ricky. Ricky walking. He always walking. Ready to serve. Serve like a soldier. Serve, 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 serve. Friends of democracy, Ricky does work.
Introducing to you Ricardo Anzuele Williams. He is the 2nd Vice President of the Friends of Democracy, professional footballer, and cultural leader. He has
We as people do. And what is the do?
introducing to you Katrina Ramsey. Cybersecurity, innovation, and accountability. This candidate brings the future into focus. An entrepreneur, an advocate for empowerment. She is committed to strengthening businesses and communities alike. A people-first leader for St. Michael West Central. Give a round of applause to Katrina Ramsey.
St. Michael West Central! Friends of Democracy! Vote to Ramsey!
Introducing to you Raymond Wiggins, a philanthropist, a business owner, and spokesperson for education. With a career spanning advertising, finance, and tax services, he brings practical expertise and a heart for reform. A proud son of St. Michael Central, committed to transformation and upliftment. Give a round of applause to Raymond Wiggins. Introducing Dominique York. She is a survivor, a mother, and a fighter for change. Her journey through hardship fuels her mission to uplift the voiceless and empower communities. From sports to culture, from advocacy to action, she stands for resilience and hope in Christchurch East Central. Make some noise for Dominique York.
Authentic leadership for brighter Barbados. One time I believe in love. One time I believe in love.
Introducing to you, Anya Lord. From the heart of St. Philip North, a lifelong resident who has walked every street and knows every struggle, an attorney at law, motivational speaker, and advocate for families and the vulnerable. She is investing in lives, not just running for office. A new voice, a new direction. St. Philip North. Give it up for Anya Lord, representing.
Anya Lore. Anya Lore.
Introducing Omar Smith, food security, dignity for farmers, and sustainable agriculture. This candidate lives what he preaches. A farmer insurance agent and organic farming practitioner. He understands both household vulnerability and soil health. He stands for prevention, resilience, and affordability in St. Philip South. Give it up, Barbados, for Omar Smith for St. Philip South.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing President Karina Goodrich, a woman of faith, a leader of vision, and president of Friends of Democracy, an attorney, entrepreneur, and commentator on youth and national issues. She puts God first and people at the center of her work. She will represent St. Philip West with courage and conviction. She will lead this team with clarity and enthusiasm. And she will serve Barbados as your next opposition leader, advocating for you and keeping the bees in check. Toot your horns, blow your whistles, and join me in welcoming President, Party Leader, and your next opposition leader, Karina Goodrich.
Keeping the bees in check. Oh, na na na. Hey, stand up, Barbadians. Let me take back we respect. Time to rise up, time to step. We keeping the bees in check. Check, 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 check. Keeping the bees in check. No more thing on the people neck. We standing strong, we won't defect. Barbados, rise up, show respect. Check, check. Keeping the bees in check. From St. Lucie straight down to St. Philip West. We guard in the high, we ready, we respect. Friends of democracy, keeping bees in check. Buzz, 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 but we hearing the truth. People waking up from the long time snooze, no more pollen talk. Time to inspect the whole life, checking when we keeping bees in check. Keeping the bees in check. No more sting on the people neck. We standing strong, we won't defect. Barbados, rise up, show respect. Eh. Keeping the bees in check. From St. Lucie straight down to St. Philip West. We guarding the high, we ready, we said. Friends of democracy, keeping bees in check. No more flying around the world while the island stress. No more living poor people in a hot mess. We want real honey, not fancy speeches to impress. We want justice sweet, no, not bitter.
Ladies and gentlemen, you just saw and witnessed 12 of our disciples, we call them. 12, of course, a perfect number in the book of the Bible. And of course, 12 champions for the Friends of Democracy to represent your interests in the House of Assembly. Vote for all 12 of them. Ladies and gentlemen here at Bush Hall, the document that will now be revealed, this is now the Manifesto presentation. The Manifesto of the Friends of Democracy is a treasure trove of sensible, appealing, transformative, and evolutionary policies that will assist in the efficient governance of the country and delivering relief through reduced taxation and effective and efficient delivery of services, making Barbados a much better place to live, work, and to recreate. Please help me welcome our first two presenters in this segment of the Manifesto presentation. Candidate for St. Michael North, B. Ricardo Harrison, and candidate for St. Michael West Central, Katrina Ramsey.
Hello, my friends. My name is Katrina Ramsey, and I am your next member of Parliament for St. Michael West Central.
I am Bertnell Ricardo Harrison, the next representative for St. Michael North.
We believe that all citizens should live comfortable lives in their country. You, me, we, as Barbadians, deserve a safer Barbados. And to achieve this, we must reform both ways we help prevent crime and exercise justice. We, the Friends of Democracy, propose a three-pronged approach. 1, creating employment and skill development programs for at-risk youth. 2, implementing improved measures of restorative justice to rehabilitate and reintegrate offenders. And 3, introducing harsher sentences and form of retributive justice, such as the death penalty.
Safe communities and developing communities go hand in hand. We must ensure that as a government, leaders of this nation, opportunities are provided for our youth to build up themselves, their families, and their environment. We are calling for the wide-scale introduction of paid apprenticeship partnerships with private sector employers. These will ensure that over 2,000 gifted young people with experience are able to reduce the barriers they are faced with when advancing their careers. Nation building starts with our communities, and our youth are essential to keeping us safe and progressive as a country.
What happens when mistakes are made and people cross boundaries of our safe and civil society? That is where restorative justice steps in. For offenses such as property theft, minor assaults, or community disruption, measures like repayment of stolen items, mediated apologies, and community service will not only combat crime, but also offer tangible justice to victims. A balanced approach must be taken when addressing crime, and restorative justice helps balance those skills by rehabilitating offenders and preventing the cycle of incarceration.
And on the other side of the coin, stricter legal safeguards improves judicial oversight and greater avenues for appeal are needed. The way we do retributive justice in Barbados screams the need for review and a need improvement. Longer prison sentences can reinforce the seriousness of criminal conduct and signal a firm stance against lawlessness. We have seen in both the East and the West of our globe how stricter sentencing demonstrates the severity and finality of punishment for violent crimes.
I can't sit down no more.
Once we employ efficient enforcement, we will reap the benefits. We support the reintroduction of the death penalty. Capital punishment serves as both a form of retribution and a deterrent to future offenders. For crimes like premeditated murder and acts of terrorism, the ultimate penalty shows how we value human life in Barbados and that we will never compromise its defense of it.
We deserve a safer Barbados. And so, we must all be brought to the table to make that a reality. The creation of employment and skill programs and skill development programs, national consultations with civil society, legal experts, and faith-based organization, modern forms of restorative justice, and stricter enforcement of retributive measures. All of these we bring to you. Our fellow Barbadians, we do our part in leading us towards a safer nation that you deserve.
National development must not only deal with safety, but also with health. Let's hear from Omar and Dominique on how we will build a healthier Barbados for everyone. I thank you and good night.
Good night.
Keeping the bees in check. Oh, na na na. Hey, stand up, Barbadians. Let me take back we respect. Time to rise up, time to step. We keeping the bees in check.
Thanks, Katrina and Ricky, and good night, Barbados. I am Dominique York, your next Member of Parliament for Christchurch East Central.
And I am Omar Smith, your next Member of Parliament for St. Philip South. Health is paramount importance to all of us. And as a true republic, we must be able to provide healthy nutrition to all citizens, develop and maintain infrastructure which gives us food security and sustainability, and make equal health care easily accessible to everyone when they inevitably need it.
As citizens of this great republic, Bajans should never be forced into a dilemma where nutritious eating and foods which keep us all strong and healthy come at the expense of paying a bill or getting from home to school and back. As a republic, we must build a healthy nation for today, tomorrow, and forever. And so we, the Friends of Democracy, call for the removal of VAT on all food items. 0% VAT on fruits and vegetables, 0% VAT on all proteins and carbs, 0% VAT on all of the food you put into your Sunday pot. That helps build healthier families and communities. Cost of living has grown to crazy levels, but one thing that should never be too expensive for any citizen in this country is healthy food. As a mother, I feel your pain, I feel your strain. I deal with it as well. I try to raise my children to be healthy and strong. We want parents just like me to have lowered cost of living as they raise our future workforce. 0% VAT on all foods is our cry.
It's our place. There will be a 16% levy placed on all imported foods to be collected at the ports of entry. This does two things. One, our food bill will be drawn down by 19%, putting $190 to $500 back in everybody's pocket every month. And two, it secures revenue for the government, as by collecting taxes at the port, we maintain direct control and reduce the risk of unreporting and non-remittance by businesses. Through our policies, Not only will food be cheaper for you, you are making it more accessible. St. Lucie, St. Peter, St. Andrew, St. Joseph, St. John, St. James, St. Thomas, St. George, St. Michael, St. Philip, and Christchurch. Every single parish of every single parishes, there will be established food banks in every parish, which will put 50 at most essential food and nutritious items in our pantry free from all taxes and duties. We want you to eat healthy again. We want you to grocery shop comfortably again. No longer will cost of living and healthy eating be a headache for you. You deserve a healthier Barbados for everyone and a VAT-free food industry.
A republic must have the ability to care for its people, and our healthcare infrastructure must reflect that we really do treasure every Barbadian. The 2023 Barbados Health Report laments of persistent challenges, including overcrowding, limited access to specialized services, and uneven distribution of healthcare resources across the parishes. Just as we want healthy food to be accessible to every Barbadian, we believe the same should be the reality for quality healthcare. So we, the Friends of Democracy, propose a new standalone, centrally located mini hospital with accident and emergency. This will ensure our healthcare system offers faster, more comfortable, and more accessible care to everyone. The building of this facility will also establish Barbados as a regional leader in medical tourism, especially if it includes private wings and advanced diagnostic capabilities. And for facilities like our public polyclinics, we must equip them with a wider range of services, including the reintroduction of comprehensive dental care. Our nurses, our doctors, our pharmacists are eager to work here in Barbados and build up this nation, but we must provide them with better infrastructure to work in and more encouraging working environments. We call on the implementation of these policies so that we can all chip in and improve the healthcare industry of our beloved country.
All of this lead to truly embodying one of the values of being a republic, self-sustainability. We must keep the bees in check and ask the hard questions. What are the major improvements have been made in our country over agriculture since 2022? Have we moved closer to total food security and ensuring that our people can trust their government and take care of their needs? Have we restored pride in Barbadians when they think about agriculture in our nation? When the Friends of Democracy care for agriculture, we care for our food security, and we are proposing an extension in local crop production to reduce import dependency, a strengthening of our national food reserves and emergency food buffers, and the promotion of climate change resilient farming systems and drought tolerance, and increased support for greenhouse farming and shade house technologies and controlled environment agriculture. As a tropical nation, we have climate, soil, and crop diversity to take full advantage and be innovative in our agriculture sector. But over 7 years, agriculture has received the short end of the stick. It has been pushed down the batting order. It has been sitting as a reserve in the team for far too long, and we are here to restore it to glory again. Agriculture must be a part of communities, and so we, the Friends of Democracy, are calling for more support for community gardens, urban farms, and school-based agriculture, the creation of youth agriculture program for career development, the extension of cooperative training, management, and marketing support, and the introduction of tax incentives for registered agriculture cooperatives.
Cheap and accessible healthy foods, the infrastructure to grow and maintain our supply of them, and healthcare, which best serves all citizens. This is what true republic does for its people. Especially when it comes to our children, we must care for them. Let's bring on Anya and Raymond to tell us more about how we will remove the roadblocks from child well-being. Good night.
Keeping the bees in check. Oh, na na na. Hey, stand up, Barbadians. Let me take back we respect. Time to rise up, time to step. We keeping the bees in check. Check, 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 check. Keeping the bees in check. No more thing on the people neck. We standing strong, we won't defect. Barbados, rise up, show respect. Check, check. Keeping the bees in check. From St. Lucie straight down to St. Philip West. We guarding the highway ready. We respect. Friends of democracy, keeping bees in check. Buzz, 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 but we hearing the truth. People waking up from the long time snooze. No more pollen talk. Time to inspect the whole life shaking when we keeping bees in check. Keeping the bees in check. No more sting on the people neck. We standing strong, we won't defect. Barbados, rise up, show respect. Eh. Keeping the bees in check. From St. Lucie straight down to St. Philip West. We guarding the highway ready. We said, friends of democracy, keeping bees in check. No more flying around the world while the island stress. No more leaving poor people in a hot mess. We want real honey, not fancy speeches to impress. We want justice sweet, no, not bitter progress. So let we march, let we chant, let we reconnect from the youth to the elders. We
1, 2, 1, 2. Check. 1, 2.
One, two.
Sorry for that little technical difficulty.
All right, friends, we're going to keep the ball rolling. Thank you, Dominique. Thank you, Omar. And good night, Barbados. I am Anya Lord. I am your next MP for St. Philip North.
And I am Raymond Wiggins, St. Michael Central's next member of parliament.
All right.
There's no excuse for any roadblocks when talking about the well-being of our children. They are too precious to us. For it is not they are too precious to us for it not to be of absolute priority. Even for those who struggle with learning and development, measures must be put in place for their livelihood. We, the Friends of Democracy, will usher in the implementation of a threefold policy on education. Number one, rigorous and standardized testing at the primary school level for learning and development disorders such as autism, ADHD, and dyslexia. Number two, the training and commissioning of a specialized unit of personnel to support our children, parents, and teachers as they address learning differences. And three, an upgrade to the modern school infrastructure program, ensuring that inclusive classroom environments, adaptive technologies, and frameworks for accessibility and fundamental parts of all learning institutions. From pre-primary to tertiary, our children must be given the most ideal conditions possible to grow, develop, and learn.
Our children should not be forced into suboptimal educational and living positions due to inefficiencies in the court system. How long will we allow our children to be deprived of the support and resources they need due to the sluggishness of our judicial system? We, the Friends of Democracy, call for the establishment of OCMAS, our out-of-court maintenance agreement system. We want to allow parents, especially fathers, to fulfill maintenance obligations without court interventions or public embarrassment, and to promote amicable co-parenting. Our children deserve a system which ensures they get what they need with little to no roadblocks. For each child, support to the sum of $75 per week will be given, a figure which we will regularly assess and update to reflect inflation and the cost of living. Our systems right now are too rigid and not adaptable enough to combat changing times in our world and economy. This support will be given for up to 4 months with an option for renewal upon review. These payments will be made from a revolving OCMAS fund to be reimbursed when arrears are recovered from the non-paying parents. A thriving society in our 21st century age must never allow its children to suffer due to inefficiencies and conflicts within the judicial system. Even before arrears are accumulated on the end of the parents, we must ensure that early intervention and support for our children is provided.
Safety, health, and education. 3 pillars of our great republic. But 3 pillars which have in one way or another been neglected over the last 7 years. We will develop, advocate, and agitate on your behalf. We will walk with you. We will talk with you. We will fight for you. We, the Friends of Democracy, will keep the bees in check. Mr. DJ, run the track.
Keeping the bees in check. Oh, na na na. Hey, stand up, Barbadians. Let me take back we respect. Time to rise up, time to step. We keeping the bees in check. Check, 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 check. Keeping the bees in check. No more thing on the people neck. We standing strong, we won't defect. Barbados, rise up, show respect. Check, check. Keeping the bees in check. From St. Lucie straight down to St. Philip West. We guarding the high, we ready, we respect. Friends of Democracy, keeping bees in check. But we hearing the truth. People waking up from the long time snooze. No more polling talk. Time to inspect the whole life shaking when we keep in these.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. That's just part 1 of our manifesto reveal. More to come in just a while. You heard this young man at 6 Roads for our opening meeting just a week or so ago. He's back with us here at Bushell this evening to bring you more of his inspirational renditions. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome on stage performer Israel J. Allen.
How many of you know when Jesus say yes, no man can say no? You know that? So I want you to put your hands together and make one big clap. Everybody clap your hands, come on. Here we go. Yeah. Oh. When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. 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 I don't worry about a thing, 'cause I know you are guiding me. Where you lead me, Lord, I will go. I have no fear, 'cause I know who's in control. There's no limit to what you can do, 'cause it all belongs to you. Yes, it all belongs to you. You're almighty and all powerful, and it all belongs to you. Everybody help me say, when Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. Yeah. When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. I don't worry about a thing, 'cause I know you are guiding me. Where you lead me, Lord, I will go. I have no fear, 'cause I know who's in hand. There's no noise, friends of democracy. You believe that when Jesus says yes, nobody says no? Everybody say yeah. See yeah. See yeah. Everybody help me say, when Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. When Jesus says yes, hey. When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. When Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. Oh, when Jesus lifts you up, no one can put you down. When Jesus lifts you up, no one can put you down. Yeah. One more time, when Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. Oh, when Jesus says yes, nobody can say no. Nobody. Make some noise for Jesus, everyone. So this next one we're going to do, we did it last time, and we're going to go straight into it. But I want you guys to sing along with me. Is that okay? Is that all right? Lord, y'all quiet, boy. Lord, make some noise. There we go. All right, let's go. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I love you, Lord. Though your mercy never fails me. All my days, we've been held in your hands. Come on, sing. Come on, louder. Come on, loud. Sing, I will of the goodness. Lord, we love your voice. You have led me through the fire in darkest nights. You are close like no other. Lord, I've known you as a father. I've known you as a friend. And in the goodness. All right, this is your part to sing, everybody. Come on, you know it. Sing. All my life, you have been faithful. All my life, you have been faithful. All my life, you've been Lord. All my life, you have been so good with every breath that I have made. I will. Oh, see, all my life, give me a little bit more track. See, all my life, you have been so good with every breath that I have made. Said I will sing. Oh, yeah. We will sing of the goodness of God. Come on, I want you to sing the next part. Everybody sing your goodness. You guys need to be a choir. Everybody sing your. With my life laid out, I see give you. See your goodness. Yeah. Everybody lift your voice and see your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after me. With my life I surrender. And we give you. This morning. Oh, yeah. See, all my life, sing. Come on, lift your voice and say, all my life you've been. Don't turn the track down, keep it where it is with every breath. Say, I will sing. Oh, yes it is. Yeah. All my life. All my life, Lord, you've been so good. So, with every breath, yeah, I will, yeah, of the goodness. I will sing of the goodness of God. In all of the world I will sing of the goodness of God. God bless you all.
Keeping the bees in check. Oh, na na na. Hey, stand up, Barbadians. Let me take back we respect. Time to rise up, time to step. We keeping the bees in check, 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 check. Keeping the bees in check. No more thing on the people neck. We standing strong, we won't defect. Barbados, rise up, show respect. Check, check. Keeping the bees in check. From St. Lucie straight down to St. Philip West. We guarding the high, we ready, we respect. Friends of democracy, keeping bees in check. Buzz, 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 but we hearing the truth. People waking up from the long time snooze, no more bowling talk. Time to inspect the whole life shaking when we keeping bees in check. Keeping the bees in check. No more sting on the people neck. We standing strong, we won't defect. Barbados, rise up, show respect. Eh. Keeping the bees in check. From St. Lucie straight down to St. Philip West. We guarding the high, we ready, we said. Friends of democracy, keeping bees in check. No more flying around the world while the island stress. No more leaving poor people in a hot mess. We want real honey, not fancy speeches to impress.
What a special talent, of course, Israel J. Allen. We thank you so much. You have been blessed, and I'm sure that you're blessed, the crowd here at Bush Hall tonight. We now continue with our manifesto reveal. It is now time to hear from President Karina Goodrich and Jason Boeing.
Good night, Barbados. I am Karina Goodrich, your party leader, next member of Parliament for St. Philip West. And with your help, the next opposition leader of Barbados.
And I am Jason Boeing, the advisor in the office of the president.
Democracy must be upheld with accountability and integrity. You elect us as your representatives. You choose us to make decisions on your behalf. You deserve a government and a parliament which treats you with fairness and respect. For too long, we as Barbadians have endured unreasonable delays in receiving payments owned by the government of Barbados. Meanwhile, when we as citizens owe the government anything, penalties, interest, and enforcement actions are swiftly applied. This double standard must end. We, the Friends of Democracy, are advocating for interest to be imposed on government when it owes money, whether that be public servants, contracted businesses, or young people who volunteer for national festivals, giving of their time and energy. Accountability goes both ways, and we must ensure that equitable repayment practices are employed. This would apply to delayed pension payments or gratuities to retirees and public servants, late payments to vendors, contractors, and service providers who have fulfilled government contracts, and rebates or refunds owned by the government agencies such as tax returns or NIS reimbursements.
This spirit of accountability must also apply when it comes to our taxes. We are committed to creating a tax regime that works for the many, not the few. We want a bold step forward towards a more just and economically secure Barbados, where no family has to fear eviction or financial ruin simply because they dared to own a home. Barbadians must be liberated, and land tax must be reformed to do the following. 1, to protect vulnerable homeowners from losing property due to tax burdens. 2, stimulate the housing market by making ownership more attractive and affordable. 3, encourage land development and reduce vacancy of underuse of residential land. And 4, uphold tax justice by ensuring that commercial entities and welfare landowners carry a fair share of the national tax responsibility. If the money collected through taxes is used for services to enhance the lives of Barbadians, then those taxes should not be taken from us if the services are not being provided. We, the Friends of Democracy, call for the removal of the solid waste tax on any unsurfaced property. The solid waste tax will only apply to properties serviced by the existing sewage treatment plants or those households that will subsequently be attached to any new sewage treatment facility. It is unfair and unjust that households not using sewage treatment plants be charged or levied for a service they are not receiving.
Taxes also should never feel like a penalty or burden to any Barbadian. We, as the Friends of Democracy, believe that pensioners have given of themselves and contributed to this nation. For over 30 and 40 years, you have been giving your blood, sweat, and tears to the private and public sector of Barbados. And in your sunset years, blissful retirement should not be overshadowed by the imposition of taxes. As a golden handshake, we propose to exempt 67% of all pensions received by these former workers from any taxes or government impositions. Therefore, Barbados, only 33% of the paid pensions will be taxable or attract any government impositions. You deserve a government who is accountable to you and leads with fairness for all Barbadians. A government and its people who share mutual respect. Representatives and their constituents who are accountable to each other. Leaders and their communities who feel taken care of always and forever. And a large part of this is giving our full support to our youth and to the promotion of culture. Let's hear from Andrele and Kerry on how we will take care of those sectors.
Keeping the bees in check. Oh, na na na. Hey, stand up, Barbadians. Let me take back we respect. Time to rise up, time to step. We keeping the bees in check. Check, 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 check. Keeping the bees in check. No more thing on the people neck. We standing strong, we won't defect. Barbados, rise up, show respect. Check, check. Keeping the bees in check. From St. Lucie straight down to St. Philip West. We guarding the highway ready. Respect. Friends of democracy, keeping bees in check. Buzz, 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 but we hearing the truth. People waking up from the long time snooze. No more ball and talk. Time to inspect the whole life shaking when we keeping bees in check. Keeping the bees in check. No more sting on the people neck. We standing strong, we won't defect. Barbados, rise up, show respect.
Thank you, President Karina and Jason. And good evening to the great supporters of this Friends of Democracy political party. My name is Ricardo Andwele Williams. I am your next representative for St. Michael Northwest.
And my name is Kerry Thomas, your next member of Parliament for St. James Central. Today, Andwele and I have come before you to speak on a topic that is near and dear to to our hearts: youth and culture. Culture is certainly not a luxury. It's crucial to our national development. As a cultural practitioner and mentor myself, I have seen firsthand the positive impact of this sector on the development of our youth.
Therefore, we, the Friends of Democracy, mandate that all government buildings and publicly owned properties display at least 20 pieces of locally produced art. This is inclusive of paintings, sculptures, textiles, and mixed media. We must begin supporting our own in all aspects, putting cash back into the hands of our artists. Not only does this help our artists financially, but ultimately create space for our history and cultural diversity, which will then, 1, build national pride, 2, educate our citizens, and 3, preserve our culture.
As my friend Andrele has pinpointed, arts help to build national pride. We then propose to use art as a way to modernizing our spaces, such as our schools, our clinics, our courts, ministries, airports, and other infrastructure across the length and breadth of Barbados. We also propose a national public art collection that displays the creative expression that the talent of our local artists. Our culture is well alive and continually growing. And we, the Friends of Democracy political party, believe that Barbadians must be given real opportunities to shape our culture. While we dress up in blue and yellow or aquamarine and gold every independence, we still do not have a national dress that the rest of the Caribbean and the world at large can say and see, that's Barbados. Therefore, we propose that there should be a national dress that truly reflects who we are as Bajan people and ensures that we stand out globally. This national dress must also reflect our heritage, creativity, and the pride we share as a nation. Ultimately, it's about us, and so this process must be led by the talented people here on our island, Barbados. A national design competition will be launched where designers and creatives will reimagine what Barbadian national dress looks like to them. This will then grant opportunities for local manufacturing, tailors, seamstresses, dress and skirt makers.
Moving on to sports. Sports in Barbados can't just be sometimes an extra. The world has already recognized it as big business. That's right. And it's time to do the same. That change has to start in our schools, giving the youth the chance to see sports as a real career, just like medicine, finance, and law. That means supporting our athletes with the right infrastructure, training for coaches, and investment from both the government and private sector. We want to give our talented students every opportunity possible to succeed.
That's right.
That's why we are creating what we call a school of excellence to help young athletes develop their skills from an early age. You should clap for that. Then building towards a national sports academy in 2030. This academy will provide top-notch coaching, flexible school access to international competitions, and support for everything from nutrition to physiotherapy and mental health. By treating sports as a real career, we are not just helping athletes, we are creating jobs, encouraging entrepreneurship, and putting this little rock we call home on the map.
Yes, sir.
We now hand over to Stephanie and Sherlyn, who will further cement our need for national pride by touching on home is where the heart is.
Keeping the bees in check. Oh, na na na. Hey, stand up, Barbadians. Let me take back we respect. Time to rise up, time to step. We keeping the bees in check. Check, 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 check. Keeping the bees in check. No more thing on the people neck. We standing strong, we won't defect. Barbados, rise up, show check, check. Keeping the V's in check. From St. Lucie straight down to St. Philip West, we guard in the high, we ready, we respect. Friends of democracy, keeping these in check. Buzz, 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 but we hearing the truth. People waking up from the long time snooze.
Thank you, Andreli and Kerry, and good evening to Barbados. I am Stephanie Williams, representative in Parliament for the constituency of St. James North.
And my name is Sherlyn Davis. You're soon to be member Parliament. You're soon to be member for the Parliament for St. Lucie. Home is where the heart is, a saying which will forever ring true. But for over 7 years, housing and homemaking has been a cause of heartache for Barbadians. Elderly who suffer in poor living conditions, young people who have their dreams of owning homes diminished every day. We, the Friends of Democracy, say no more. This, we bring to you a four-pronged solution to the housing crisis. An aggressive, genuine rent-to-own policy, an agency who will remandate that policy and ensure 100% mortgages, and make sure they will be granted with reasonable market-driven interest rates. Quality, low-cost housing, single standalone units and terrace units. And finally, the implementation of reverse mortgages, particularly for persons over the age of 60.
We are committed to breaking the cycle of generational renting and expanding home ownership for working class and middle income Barbadians. Our aggressive, genuine rent-to-own policy will make it possible for thousands of citizens to secure a home, many for the first time in their lives. Through this policy, we, the Friends of Democracy, will help give 100% mortgages to public officers and private sector employees earning $2,500 to $5,000 monthly. These mortgages will be provided at reasonable market-driven interest rates with no deposit required, thus removing one of the largest barriers to entry for the first-time buyers. A dedicated homeowner authority or newly mandated agency will be established to superintend and manage the program, ensuring transparency, efficiency, and accountability. We also want to promote dignity through home ownership, which empowers families and gives young professionals and working class citizens a genuine stake in the national economy. There, we call for low-cost quality housing, the development of very low-cost quality housing units built to last and designed for practical, comfortable living. There will be a mix of single, standalone homes and terrace units located in strategically selected communities to support access to jobs, transport, schools, and other essential services. Homes will come with essential structural finishes, only roofing, walls, plumbing, and electrical wirings. Non-essential fittings such as wardrobes, kitchen cabinets, and decorative finishes will be left to the new homeowner's discretion and budget, thereby reducing construction costs and sale prices while allowing homeowners to personalize their spaces over time.
Homes must be attainable for all ages. A reverse mortgage is a financial arrangement where homeowners age 60 and over can access part of the equity in their homes without having to sell or vacate the property. Instead of making mortgage payments, the homeowner receives payments from a lender, and payment is only required when the home is sold or the owner passes away. This policy is about preserving dignity in retirement, giving our seniors the freedom to access wealth they've built over time, and easing financial burden on the younger family members who may otherwise carry the full responsibility for their elders. We, the Friends of Democracy, will ensure strict regulatory oversight to ensure transparency, fairness, and protection against predatory lending, collaboration with financial institutions and credit unions to create a safe, regulated reverse mortgage product that meets international best practices. Public education campaigns to help seniors and their families understand the benefits, risks to reverse mortgages, and provisions to ensure that the homeowners can remain in their homes for life as property tax, and basic maintenance are upheld.
And not only do we want to ensure you can get a home, but we want your home to be as protected as it can be. So, we propose the implementation of shared mandatory house replacement insurance on all houses built with the state's assistance, not including those for long-term rental or mortgages acquired ownership. The rationale for the implementation of this policy is the absence of an efficient, humane, and viable solution to replace dwellings built with the state's assistance that have been lost to catastrophe, especially fire. A reputable insurance company should be established with a policy to cover all government-assisted houses built by the state, with premiums being shared by 80% paid by the government and 20% by the legitimate occupier of the dwellings. Home is where the heart truly is, and as a country, we must safeguard the hearts of our people. We must give full support to our families, and we plant seeds for a prosperous nation. Let's hear from Matthew and Jamal on our final set of policies.
Keeping the bees in check. Oh, na na na. Hey, stand up, Barbadians. Let me take back we respect. Time to rise up, time to step. We keeping the bees in check. Check, 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 check. Keeping the bees in check. No more thing on the people neck. We standing strong, we won't defect. Barbados, rise up, show respect. Check, check. Keeping the bees in check. From St. Lucie straight down to St. Philip West. We guard in the high, we ready, we respect. Friends of democracy, keeping bees in check. Buzz, 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 but we hearing the truth. People waking up from the long time snooze, no more ball and talk. Time to inspect the whole life shaking when we keeping bees in check. Keeping the bees in check. No more thing on the...
Thank you, Stephanie and Sherlyn. Barbados, good night and a blessed good night to all of you. I am Matthew Thorne, the next representative for St. James South.
And I am Jamal Martindale, the spokesperson in the President's office. We must put Bajans first forever. And this requires us to prioritize the prosperity of our local industry before outside partnerships and globalization. Business development must be supported by the government. And so we, the Friends of Democracy, are bringing to you the establishment of SEED, the Small Enterprise Empowerment Department. In a reality where unemployment, underemployment, and lack of innovation in many sectors leave young professionals disgruntled and unfulfilled, entrepreneurship still shines through as a glimmer of hope. It is an invitation for them to use their enthusiasm, knowledge, and network to build something of their own and to help improve our society. We will implement a startup seed fund in order to invest $1.5 million annually into over 100 entrepreneurs through seed loans. Applicants would receive a $15,000 loan in which there will be a built-in compulsory enrollment in the NAS Self-Employment Contribution Fund, whose accumulation funds will act as a guarantee for the loan, with the government having the first claim to the mature benefits over time.
We must also be a country which takes care of our already emerging sectors. We propose the development of coconut water vendor villages. These government-sponsored villages will have all the amenities at specified spots on the highways, such as waterborne toilet facilities and skips for disposal of coconut shells. With increasingly harsh temperatures, it is important that we find ways to implement hydration in our public infrastructure. And what is life without enjoyment? As I like to say, what is life without a laugh? We want to invite Bajans to unwind by creating 6 recreational villages across the northwest, east, and south coast of the island by July 2029. These recreational villages will serve as hotspots for fun, food, culture, and relaxation. Oistins continues to provide a space not just for tourists to gather, but a great place where locals can unwind, express themselves through dance and other nightlife activities, and have a good time and have good, clean Bajan fun. We want to take that success and expand it across our island.
And as a republic, our infrastructure and transportation sector must be innovative and modern to match the global standards and achievements. We need to be providing opportunities for growth and development for individuals in these areas. The Friends of Democracy proposes to create adequate parking facility in our 4 major towns to facilitate the efficient operation of a public-private sector near-shore sea taxi operating to ferry commuters to and from these cities. The rationale behind this initiative is to provide sea transportation at peak hours to cover the movement of commuters from Oistins in the south to Spikestown in the north, with incorporated service to Bridgetown and Holetown, thus reducing significantly the heavy traffic congestion on our roadways. We also propose adding an award feature to the basic payment of all public service vehicle workers to enhance their wages and further acknowledge that they are the backbone of our public transportation sector in Barbados. This solution will help reduce the over-enthusiastic spirit of competition, which encourages reckless and unlawful behavior. By bringing all PSV workers into the government payroll with a negotiated and fixed weekly stipend to be added alongside the wages from their respective employers, we are engendering a feeling of care for them, thus creating a culture of second-tier entrepreneurship among the sectors and the drivers and conductors.
A republic must be the embodiment of safety and justice, installing confidence in its citizens to live for one another. A republic must raise up healthy and happy citizens, building out infrastructure which provides them good food and modern healthcare. A republic must remove every single roadblock that exists when it comes to the well-being of its children. A republic must have leaders who are characterized by fairness and accountability. A republic must provide full support for its youth, for its sports, and for its culture. A republic must safeguard the homes and living conditions of its people. And a republic must constantly plant seeds to raise up a prosperous nation today, tomorrow, and forever. We are the Friends of Democracy. We believe in the greatness of this beloved country, Barbados. And with your help, on February the 11th, we bring this mandate to the Parliament of Barbados to represent you with vigor and integrity, and to keep the bees in check to make decisions which truly assert Barbados as the republic that it is. We love you. May God bless Barbados. We love you.
Keeping the bees in check. Oh, na, na, na. Hey, stand up, Barbadians. Let me take back, we respect. Time to rise up, time to step. We keeping the bees in check. Check, 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 check. Keeping the bees in check. No more thing on the people neck. We standing strong, we won't defect. Barbados, rise up, show respect. Check, check. Keeping the bees in check. From St. Lucie straight down to St. Philip West. We guarding the high, we ready, we respect. Friends of democracy, keeping bees in check. Buzz, 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 but we hearing the truth. People waking up from the long time snooze, no more ball and talk. Time to inspect the whole life shaking when we keeping bees in check. Keeping the bees in check. No more sting on the people neck. We standing strong, we won't defect. Barbados, rise up, show respect.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. You heard and you were introduced to the 12 of our candidates. You heard from Sherlyn Davis in St. Lucie. You heard from Stephanie Williams in St. James North. Kerry Thomas, St. James Central. Matthew Thorne, St. James South. Ricardo Antwelli Williams, St. Michael Northwest. You heard from B. Ricardo Harrison from St. Michael North. Raymond Wiggins, St. Michael Central. Katrina Ramsey, St. Michael West Central. Dominic York from Christchurch East Central. Anya Lord from St. Philip North. And Omar Smith from St. Philip South. And of course, the magnificent lady, the President Karina Goodrich from St. Philip West. You heard them all and you saw them. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the greatest pleasure. I represented this constituency for 10 unbroken years, and I endorse this next speaker 100% to you, the constituents of St. Michael Central. It is with great pleasure I want you to help me introduce and bring this young man to you tonight. Raymond Wiggins, the candidate for St. Michael Central.
Good night, good night, good night, good night. St. Michael Central. I was waiting for a song, sorry. My people, my family, my community. I'm not standing before you as a stranger. I'm not a name that appeared on a ballot at election time. I don't come to you polished by privilege. I come to you shaped by the soil of this community. I am one of you. This community is not a stop on my political journey. It is the beginning of my story. A story that began in Sealy Land in Bank Hall, where I was born and raised, where I ran these streets all up in Bush Hall and Waterford, Station Hill, all around these areas. I know these streets, these roads, these alleys, these tracks, where you could get from Station Hill all the way down to Eagle Hall without going on the front road, just weaving through people's properties as it was. I know the early mornings and the late nights. I know the hustle. I know the sacrifice. I know what it means when your paycheck run out before the week does. And I'm sure most of you knows that as well. And then you get caught up in a vicious, vicious cycle, where you're borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. My grandmother used to send us to trust stuff from Mr. Conliffe down on the front road. And then when she didn't have the money to pay Friday, she tell the government Miss Harper up by Paramount and trust something for she. But she said, look, boy, don't pass by Mr. Conliffe or Clark. You don't let them see you. Go through the back. Don't let them see you come back with no goods. And she will repeat that cycle by Miss Braffett, Mr. Braffett, Miss Marshall, all the other people till she get back round because she had the money to pay them. That is the trials and tribulations back then. And I'm sure a lot of you out there knows about that. And I'm also sure a lot of you are still in that situation today because they have a stranglehold on us. They have their feet on our necks when it comes to this economy. And we are feeling the pinch. But you know, people of St. Michael Central, we don't cry out. We are proud people. We suffer in silence. But we will suffer in silence no more because we have the friends of democracy. And more locally, you have a person in Raymond Wiggins, born and raised in this community, born and raised in this constituency, that feels your pain and aim to do something about it. I'm not a politician. Wasn't aiming to be one. Anybody who knows me know you would see me up and down with my white t-shirt and my short pants, having a little beverage, sometimes a quart, sometimes a ginger ale, at a local establishment. But over the last few years, as I've been having some events in the community, if people have reached out to me and said, look, we don't see the representative, except for when he comes to your events, put on a shirt and a hat and take pictures and post them on his site. Why don't you try to be the representative for us? We have an MP, but we don't have a representative, and we are sure you would do a good job because we know you care about us, and we know if you make it a higher office, you will do all you can, use all your resources to take care of us. So I've answered the call, and here I am. And you know when we're going to be politically correct, when the itinerant salesmen used to come around, and they come around on a Sunday looking for $1, you know a lot of your parents would say, hide. I said we are being politically correct. Itinerant salesmen. And your parents would say, tell you I'm home. Want to know too, because a lot of them went to the event and said, my mommy said she ain't home. I see my grandmother hold a $5 bill so, she last $5 bill so tight in she hand that she made tears come out of her front where her eyes. She squeezed that $5 so hard. She had nothing else to use, nothing to give us. And you know where I'm coming from. A lot of you know what I'm talking about. And this was not just back then. This resonates right now with a lot of you, with this cost of living that is totally out of control. I know what it means to want opportunity only to see the doors closed in your face. I know because I've lived it right here with you. That is why we propose. I know you've heard a lot of the policies that encompass the entire country, but obviously we have a few that would be locally based, that would affect our local people. We have a lot of entrepreneurs in St. Michael Central. A lot of people who, after leaving school, could find no work, thought they had no hope, and a lot of them turned to opening their own businesses. But they find that they cannot properly open these businesses to the scale and the level that they would like. There's no seed funding for them. And one of the policies you would have heard, I think friend Matthew would have been the one that talked about the seed funding for some of these groups. But if elected, with your help, I will champion a constituency-based job and enterprise initiative designed to support residents who want to work or start small businesses within St. Michael Central. This initiative will focus on supporting small community-based ventures such as barbershops, grocery shops, food service trades, and other local enterprises that meet everyday needs of our constituencies, of our constituents. And how it will work, we will encourage investors and partners to contribute to a local enterprise support fund, providing startup and early stage support to residents who want to launch small businesses. It will pair financial support with guidance, mentorship, and practical planning. And it will promote fair, transparent, and responsible access to support. It is about empowerment, partnership, and sustainability. Because let's face it, all of our youngsters are out there feel disenfranchised. They feel nobody care about them. So they gravitate to who they think care about them. They gravitate to the block. Sometimes it's just a transition for some of these youngsters. And as I would have said on a podium before, while living in Brooklyn as a youngster, and a bunch of my friends from Barbados as well, we finished high school, trying to figure out where we're going next, what we're going to do. We hung out on what they would call a block too. And some of the other persons who had children coming up from Barbados and so forth will say to their children, don't go and hang out with them, they're up to no good. Nothing will become of them. We were in transition, but let me tell you, none of those guys ended up on the wrong side of the law. They went into the United States Marines, United States Navy, United States Army, and the United States Air Force. And some of them, including myself, went off to college to make a better way for themselves. So sometimes you just need to help. You just need to catch yourself, understand what is going on. But when we drop the ball, when government drops the ball and don't support these youngsters, what part you think they're going to end up? And then you know what they turn around and do? Blame them. Oh, Lord, what part they're gone? Did we have any other avenues for them? You've heard before about some of our policies where we want to channel some of the youngsters while they're still in school. Not wait until they come out of school and tell them to apply to the SJP and other places. While they're in school as part of their curriculum, we want to get them, whether they're in 4th or 5th, or when they're not performing very well in academics, reading, writing, and arithmetic, as they say. We want to channel them into places that they can use their hands and their minds. Everybody cut out for that. When you know someone went out there was struggling when it comes to certain things. I was good at math. But some of the other things, you're talking with the youngsters in school, you're playing the fool. You're not interested in them. And they teach you Latin. I went to CP and they teach you Latin and all kind of things. I'm more a master math, but that's all I remember. But we got to channel these people, these youngsters, into something meaningful. And we have a lot of those young people in St. Michael's Central. I care about the whole of Barbados, yes, but I care deeply about the youngsters of St. Michael's Central. And we have to find a way for them to make something of themselves. A lot of them really, really and truly want to become something. They're just waiting for that opportunity. Myself and Jamal, who you saw a little while ago, have been out there talking to a lot of the youngsters. Because Jamal is a much younger man than me. He's been out there. We went to St. Lucie handing out water. The whole entire team left. And I was leaving as the last person. Jamal standing up talking to some youngsters and stayed there for another 2 hours talking to the youngsters, trying to understand what is going on with them. They said, boy, look, nobody never come and talk to me. As a matter of fact, they just talk to us. They don't listen to us. That is our problem. You know, the old people say children should be seen, not heard. That rubbish done with. These children have an agenda. These children need to be listened to. These youngsters need our help. And we need to go ahead and help them. And when you guys come out on February 11th and vote for me and propel me over the top as your next representative in St. Michael Central, I'm telling you, the first priority is dealing with these youngsters on the block, dealing with some of these youngsters who feel lost and neglected, and giving them hope again, by all means. Like I said, I've walked these streets with you. These same roads. I know what it is like to stretch $1, to worry about a bill, to worry about if you're going to pay a bill or if you're going to buy food. And then when you decide to buy food, decide if you're going to buy chicken box or a can of sardine. Because it's come right down to that. And then you're in the supermarket looking at the prices, up to the register, the cashier, peeping at the body behind you and trying to whisper to the cashier, don't put in them yet here. Let me know how much it is. Because you don't want to be embarrassed. But you know the body behind you telling herself, I'm glad she knows so because when you go out there and feel bad because she said I can say it too. This cost of living is killing us, and you would have heard them talking about the VAT reduction and certain things. Some of them ain't realized yet. Some of them talk about the voting party. But I can tell you something. If someone or parents and grandparents was alive, the party that when voting for that one, sir, is the party when the parents and grandparents. If they were alive, they would say, that is not my party. That is not the party that I grew up representing and voting for and going up on platforms and all about town representing. There would be shame. So stop with the nonsense. Listen to people and the policies and so forth and vote from your heart and not from your head. Don't vote your fears. Vote your hopes. Vote for your children and your grandchildren. The ones who are going to be shouldered with this burden of all this money that we have borrowed that they're going to have to pay it back. As you heard our President Karina talk about reducing the tax on the pension. We didn't want to do them things and they want to raise the age. They already did the study and know how many people died between those two ages, 65 and 67, whatever the age they're trying to raise it to. And when they see the amount of people, they just smile. That is that much more people who will not get a penny out of the NIS. May they rest in peace. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking to take care of our seniors who have contributed to this world, to our society, to our communities in a meaningful way. And as bad as this place is now, they're leaving it in a much better place than they found it. I know the pride of this community, but I also know the struggles of this community. Because I don't read them in a report, I don't got to wait for the report to enough of them things to come out. I lived it with you. So I know the struggle. I know the pain. We've walked these streets. We got people down in Snagland with a well that collapsed years ago and they moved out the lady from the house where the house collapsed and put her somewhere else. The house still empty, the well still there, unattended to. Up in Nurseland, open wells. Somebody had to come and put pieces of galvanized over it to stop a child from falling down. The little pieces of metal, the pieces of iron that go between it, that if a ball or debris go down there, it can't get in the well. All of that have eroded and over the years have disappeared. Nobody don't care nothing about that. Because when they keep voting for people who cares nothing. N-O-T-H-I-N-G. Nothing about you and your community. They don't pass through these gaps. They pass on the mirror, the windows roll up, the AC on, and when they pass your house, they look the other way. But anybody who know me know this pass my windows roll down, the AC on too, because I like the fresh air, but I like to cool it down a little bit. And speak to people and talk to people. We have to stop the nonsense. We have to stop. We have to stop and think about where our X goes, for whom, and what they can do for us. When mothers worry about their sons walking home or their children walking home, I feel that. When fathers wonder how they'll make ends meet, or any parents wonder how they'll make ends meet, I feel that. When young people ask, does anyone see us? Does anyone believe in us? Because they're in despair, you know. When they ask those questions, I feel that. That's where me and Jamal feel the need to go out there and talk to some of these youngsters, see where they're coming from, and see how we can help them in their time of despair. And I feel all of these things because you are my people. And let me tell you something tonight. This community is not broken. This community is powerful. You guys hold the power in your hands on February 11th to go to the polls and make your voice be heard. You guys got the power to create history, you know. Not in terms of voting for somebody from a third party or none of them things, but for voting for a representative, somebody who cares about one and not just an MP, who just come around on election time and beg for a vote and then, poof, disappear. We ain't doing that no more. Wake up, St. Michael Central. Make your ex count. Don't start home and talk about your voting. Go out and make your ex count and not don't complain. That's what we're talking about. I'm not running to escape this community. Or when I return from overseas, I'm going to go on and live someplace else. I come right back in the community, Queen Victoria Road. I don't care what else was selling something, how cheap it was, what was going on. I came right back in the community. I am not running from this community. I am running to uplift this community. We deserve streets that are safe, not feared. We deserve schools that open their doors and not close the children's futures. We deserve opportunities that reach our neighborhoods, not passers by on the highway. And hear me clearly. People of St. Michael's Central are not asking for favors. We are not asking for handouts. But the people of St. Michael's Central deserve fairness. We are demanding respect. We are demanding our share of the future. They're telling me time is up. So I will tell you this in closing. They can't expect bring me St. Michael's Central to give me 6 minutes. But anyhow, I will abide by the rules. We got a long program. We had to introduce everything and everybody and the whole country. But one of the things that I will do, we will bring back a Steve Blackett incentive. The breakfast program that was so instrumental in St. Michael's Central for people of St. Michael's Central, the youngsters. We will restore dignity to our people, a people not long neglected by absentee politicians. We will give the people of St. Michael's Central hope again, because they can rest assured that they will have one of their own fighting for them tooth and nail. So when they come to beg for a vote and then disappear, don't get them a vote. Know that Raymond Wiggins is running for you, the people of St. Michael's Central. When you go in the voting booth and see Raymond Wiggins and look there, that's not me you're voting for. You're voting for you and your children and your children's children. The only letter that should matter to you on February 11th when you go in that voting booth is not B nor D. The only letter that should matter is you. We are fighting for you and your prosperity, your children, and their future. Thank you, St. Michael's Central. Have a good night. God bless you.
From the heart of St. Michael, a story unfolds. A man of the people, brave and bold.
Speaking like a man, of course, with deep conviction and a desire to serve the people here, right here in St. Michael's Central. Raymond Wiggins offering a ray of hope right here in St. Michael's Central. An officer and a gentleman, my lifelong friend, and the next representative for the constituency of St. Michael North. Help me welcome B. Ricardo Harrison.
We're going with Ricky working. He always working. Ready to serve like a soldier. Serve.
Good night to the wonderful people in St. Michael Central. Good night to the wonderful people of Barbados. But I have a special good night for 4 friends from St. Michael North. Phyllis, David, Jeffrey, and Stricker Tenantry. Good night to you guys. I'm happy to see you. I am here this evening in support of my next door neighbor candidate, Mr. Raymond Wiggins. Raymond is an honest, hard-working entrepreneur who doesn't come to the constituency on a sea of red or a sea of bread, but he comes with honesty in his heart and a willingness to represent his people. That having been said, in 1951, there was the adult suffrage where an individual having attained the age of 21 was able to vote. He didn't have to own a plantation, but he was given that right. In 1963, the age was lowered to 18 years old. What has pained me, friends, Barbadians, is that 75 years after the passage of adult suffrage and 15 elections later, we are having observers coming into our beautiful island to observe our elections. I say that is nonsense. I have to be politically correct. I can't say what I think it is, but it is nonsense. Let me pause and ask the driver of M7757 to please ease your vehicle. There's a young man with a pregnant wife who wants to get home. So if you can oblige, please do. Now, as I was saying, there's a tug of war between two BLP people about the rights and the voting rights. We have had a situation where some 8,000 people have been dumped from the voters list. But I want you to remember this. During the fiasco with the Trident ID cards, somebody in authority said, if you don't get the new card, you might not be able to vote. And that has come to fruition. I want to say to you people tonight, if you are over the age of 18 and you have been living in Barbados as a Barbadian citizen, go to the polls and vote. Don't let nobody browbeat you into staying home and tell you that your name ain't on the list. I had two friends who called me recently and said to me, Ricky boy, I died. I said, behind me, I died. They said, on the voters list, they got me as deceased. I wanted a police officer. Go to the polls and vote. We don't need no observers to tell us how to vote. We've been doing our business in the best way possible. We've been a model to other Caribbean territories. I want to also say this to you as well. There has been a lot of talk about the VAT. This was raised by our President, Karina Goodrich, some 7 months ago about the reduction in VAT at the port of entry. Suddenly, like a mango tree, beloved vine, everybody stick on it. I want to say to you this evening that the VAT can be reduced and enable ordinary Barbadians and some of the Barbadians that Raymond just spoke of to live a comfortable life. Now, the girly doctor from the central bank is saying that you can't reduce VAT, that it would compromise the economy. But when they gave away $1 billion of collected VAT, they said, keep it, man, keep it. It ain't a big thing. It didn't compromise the economy then. When they gave away $400 million to the hoteliers for God knows what, it didn't compromise the economy then. When they paid $750,000 for a tourism ad that nobody in the world ever heard. Well, sorry, it was somebody else's ad that they had copied. It didn't compromise the economy then. And the goodly Prime Minister admitted that if you reduce the VAT, it would not necessarily mean a reduction in the cost of living to ordinary folk like you and I. But I'm saying to you folks, she is the Prime Minister of Barbados and the world at large. All you have to do is enact the necessary legislation that will suggest that prices remain at a stable rate. All it takes is a piece of legislation. Now, you had legislation for the tent law. You had legislation so if the police get a beat and you don't help them, that you will pay $250,000. You had legislation for COVID, that if you just stay in your house, if you want to buy a pack of biscuits or a gallon of kerosene oil, you will get locked up. They had all types of legislation. This is for the benefit of the working class and the middle class of Barbados. And you will realize that those two areas are swiftly disappearing. There was a time when middle class was middle class. Nowadays, middle class, and I'm talking about the civil servants, teachers, police officers, nurses, etc., are living from paycheck to paycheck. It is impossible to get a loan. It is difficult to pay your bills. You've got to determine if you can pay the bank If you can pay lightning power, if the water authority will give you a blight, the salaries that you are getting, you will get a good-looking dollar figure. But I challenge anybody to go into this supermarket behind here with $100 and see how much good you can get. You gotta pay for the bags. Everything comes in plastic bottles, but you gotta pay for the plastic bag. The cost of living in Barbados, as you canvass, and the other 11 ladies and gentlemen will tell you, is on the lips of every person in Barbados. Everybody is complaining about the cost of living and the other C. The other C being crime. Now, crime runs rampant in Barbados. Everybody, it would appear, seems unable or indeed unwilling to enact decent legislation that will counteract the crime in Barbados. We've been tiptoeing around it. We've been smiling about it. But I'm saying to you, if you are serious about combating the crime in Barbados, then you have to use serious methods. We spoke about it earlier in the manifesto. But it's not all about punitive measures. We intend to enact programs that will encourage young people, and not only young men, young people off the streets and use their productive years quite wisely. If you look at the amount of, or the age group of those committing the crimes, you will see 17, sometimes 16, sometimes as young as 14. We want the government to introduce policies that will safeguard these young people. They are the future of this country. We want this pretty talk to end. And the solution to crime is not to pay the criminals $8,000, because you know they did that. They initiated a peace program paying the criminals $8,000 not to shoot each other. But you know, when the money stopped, the shooting restarted. Thankfully, the minister who was in charge of that exercise has decided to go down a different lane. And we need to look at the amount of monies that have been spent over the last 7 years in Barbados. There was a project called the Hope Project. Some refer to it as the Hapless Hope Project. $60 million later, and there's not one house standing from this Hope Project. The goodly Prime Minister has promised that she will commission an inquiry into how this $60 million disappeared. The only good thing coming out of that project so far is that one of the initiators has gone south. We want to know also, why is it that a country which, as we are told, cannot afford more than a 21 cents increase in wages can dip into the consolidated fund and take out $225 million ostensibly for overseas investors, rather than use that money to find jobs for young people in Barbados. You're taking out our money from our consolidated fund to fund overseas investors. Now, in the last 7 years, we've been known for one thing: borrowing money up and down, so that of the 96 trips that the Prime Minister has made during her 95 months in office, it has had to do with borrowing money. I'm asking, why do you not take some of that same borrowed money and fund those overseas investors. Now, during the tenure of another entity, the government took away a private citizen's land and gave it to another private citizen to build a hotel. Would you believe 7 years later, the only thing on that particular site is 2 pancart load of marl and some grass. And there was a hue and a cry about all sorts of studies that had to be undertaken for that particular site. But it doesn't stop there. They went down to Whole Town on the beach side and sold off the property. But you know, the man who bought the property said, no, this is unfair to these citizens. I ain't want it no more. And he left them holding that particular bag. But they're not finished there. They're going back up to Bay Street. And they got the eyes on Savvy on the Bay. They got the eyes on Savvy. Now, when they started to campaign, but they're always campaigning, they said about somebody cares. Somebody cares. I am seeing a green light, so I will have to condense my speech. You know me, I am not very long in doing certain activities. But but I want to finish, Barbadians. I want to finish with this, friends of democracy. There is a fear in Barbados among the journalists and among the 2 other entities for the friends of democracy. They are afraid to mention it. They go, I'm not calling anybody's names, I may get sued. For reasons best known to themselves, when they are discussing the political parties, they discuss only 2. Those 2 parties, one dead and the other one killing me. So they are no use to Barbadians anymore. There has been no opposition in Barbados for 7 years. What we have had is a clown show. What we have had is theatrics, skylarking, and making a mockery of the public's purse. I want you, on the 11th of February, to look at the 12 candidates, and you saw them tonight, young, good-looking, strong. I want you tonight, when you go into your various constituencies, to put your X next to the Friends of Democracy candidate. Karina, Anya, Omar, Dominique, Raymond, Andrea, Aleka, Ricky, Katrina, Kerry, Stephanie, Shirley Orlando. I want you, wherever you live, and Burton Ricardo, I want you, wherever you live, to go out, vote for Matthew. I call Matthew my friend, my son. Go out and vote for a decent, credible, honest, God-fearing opposition. Ladies and gentlemen, Barbadians, I thank you, God bless you, and good night.
We're going with Ricky working. He always working, ready to serve like a soldier. Serve. Friends of democracy, Ricky does work.
The man who will unseat Davison Ishmael over there in St. Michael North, Attorney at Law B. Ricardo Harrison. Thank you so much. Coming up next, a candidate for St. Michael West Central, small in stature but huge in representation for her constituents. I call her the Pocket Rocket. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Katrina Ramsey.
St. Michael West Central! Friends of Democracy! Vote Ramsey! Yeah. Vote Ramsey!
Good night, everyone. Good night to the people of St. Michael Central, and good night to Barbados. Tonight, I'm not here for any long political talk. I'm here to reason with you, plain, honest, and from the heart. I was raised in St. Michael and grew up in Oxley Road with my mom. This parish has shaped me. So when I speak from someone who understands the realities people face every single day. I am a young woman and a young mother of 2 boys. And like many, I worry. I worry about safety. I worry about opportunities. I worry about whether how hard it still counts for someone in this country. I've entered politics because I got tired of complaining and seeing nothing change. I entered politics because too many people feel unheard unless election is close. And I entered politics because I believe ordinary people deserve real representation, not pretty talk. I am proud to represent the Friends of Democracy, led by our President Goodridge. Our mission is simple: to develop, advocate for, and pursue programs and policies that secure the continued development of Barbados with people at the center. We are not here to fight down anyone. We are here to offer an alternative, a different way of doing politics. And as I canvass, people don't ask me for much. They tell me what matters in their community: unity, togetherness, safety, peace, social support, beautification, and representation that actually listens, not talk, presence. In this day and age, there are still people in the St. Michael area using outside pit toilets. That should never be happening. People are not asking for luxury. They're asking for dignity. As your representative, I will advocate for practical solutions, proper assessment, and follow-throughs, not excuses. Safety is not only about crime. Safety is also about being able to live, walk, and raise children without fear on your own street. A community cannot thrive if people feel uneasy where they live. And because Barbados cannot move forward if communities are left behind, we need representation that shows up, listens, and acts. A constituent shared with me their experience at the hospital. Poor conditions and not even proper seating while visiting family. Some people can afford international health care, but most Barbadians cannot. No family should have to start a GoFundMe just to survive in this country. Healthcare must feel fair, humane, and accessible. And as we move into a digital age, but if we're honest, too many young people feel they have to leave, know someone, or get lucky to get a real opportunity in this country. I know we have talent. I've seen it, and I do believe it. We need realistic training paths and local opportunities so people can build stable lives here at home. is why Friends of Democracy supports the restructuring of Alma Paris School into a technical career institute. An institute focused on trades, technology, digital skills, certifications, mentorship, employment, and entrepreneurship. This is practical. This is achievable. And this is how we prepare our country and our young people for the world of work. Strong communities don't just happen, they're built. As your representative, I will support community building programs that strengthen unity, togetherness, and pride among the people of St. Michael. Because when people feel connected, communities become stronger. And when communities are strong, Barbados moves forward. Tourism is important to Barbados. But if we are honest, it is often cheaper for visitors to travel into Barbados than for Barbadians to travel out of Barbados. High travel taxes affect families, education, and medical care. Barbadians are not asking for privilege, they're asking for fairness. When people hear that ordinary Barbadians could face fines up to $250,000, and also the increase of expenses within the tourism accommodation bill, it caused real concerns. That bill is now on pause because consultation should always come before implementation. People must be heard first. Now, people ask me, Katrina, why should I vote for you? Now, I have a big family of BLP supporters. I myself have voted Barbados Labour Party. But I became tired. Tired of the cycle, tired of the talk. Last election, I didn't vote. I was told road tax would be removed. And I said, yes, I can get a little relief from this road tax being removed. But I was bamboozled. A gas tax was added. Only if you knew how I felt about that. I felt betrayed. So I thought silence would fix my frustration, but it did not. That is when I realized I had to do something different. I joined an alternative party because I'm tired of the pretty talk. I may not be able to offer you a $100 food voucher for a vote, but I will listen. I will show up. And I will represent you honestly. I am not running to defend a party. I am running to represent you, the people of Barbados. The people of St. Michael Central, and the whole of Barbados deserve better. Barbados deserve better representation that listens. My name is Katrina Ramsey, and I am a mother. I am a neighbor. And I'm someone struggling just like you, and I also understand the struggles. And since we are keeping it real tonight, as someone famous likes to say, give me the vote and watch me. So thank you. And God bless the people of St. Michael and St. Michael Central. And God bless Barbados. Thank you.
Vote to Ramsey, West Central stand up proudly. Friends of democracy, standing strong for we. The future belongs to the people. Make you vote count loudly. Friends of democracy, yeah, yeah. Vote democracy, yeah.
Oh yes, Katrina Ramsey. I fully endorse her and of course recommend her to the people of St. Michael West Central. Come February the 11th, place your X squarely against that young lady and send her up the 22 steps of the House of Assembly. Coming up next is we are going to the farmhousing area for our closing meeting, and in that constituency we have a mighty man of God, a fierce advocate for the poor and the disadvantaged. I bring to you tonight my good friend and brother, evangelist Ricardo Andwele Williams.
Talking to you, we as people do, and what is to do, brings up democracy, bringing democracy.
Good night, good night, good night. The people from Bushall Yard Gap, up by the stadium and all around, and all the gaps like Raymond, but you know they got a lot of princes out here in Queens. Royals Avenue, or Royals and Kings and Queens. But they changed the name of them, it was Republic now. Well, they got your name, Raymond Wiggins Gap. Anyhow, I come to you tonight in the name of Jesus. We got to remember that everything that we do in the honor of God, Almighty God, especially in a time like this, when everything that could go wrong, going wrong. Passing people on the street that day and saying, hi, how are you? But we did. Walking boat here. But tonight, years ago, a man said, there's a funny day, and I live in jail. A lot of strange things going on in Barbados. We, the people, I call it at the lower end of the social ladder. The ones that live from paycheck to paycheck. The people that build this country from scratch. The people that cut the canes and went to the fields and raised children and developed this country. In 2026, you're still cutting the cane, raising children, and still broke. Whilst we got a Prime Minister when she visits us, after she travels the entire world, she comes back to Barbados with her theatrics and keeps the faith. One faith after another, because that's all she thinks that we need is to jump up and walk up and do the most disgraceful behavior on the road. Today, 2026, from the time that party took office until now, Barbados has almost 300 murders. Unheard of in this country. 300 murders. I ain't talking about the cockroach or fowl. I talking about people's lives and the blood flowing on the streets of this country. Every day. Somebody is holding their belly for their child. And not anybody that is old. Not that I saying that old people want killing. I will never say that. But all these people that dying, almost all of them under 25 years old, from the age of 15 and up. It has to be something wrong with leadership in this country. Because the buck stops there. What it is that you are not doing that caused the young people in this country to be so rebellious? What it is that you are not doing that caused the young people of this country to be so rebellious? You must ask yourself that daily. We have come from too far to be in this behavior. Every day that I canvass, young people tell me, I ain't voting for a fella. And as much as you try to convince them that you have to vote and why people should vote, I am voting for a fella. That cannot argue well for a country like Barbados, who was seen as the gem of the Caribbean. We have been reduced to rubble. You heard Ricky saying just now that we asking observers to come in and watch elections. It never happened before in the history of this country. And yet still that you're boasting to be a world leader. So tonight, I ain't going to be as a friend of mine called me out there and tell me again, fire shots. No, my heart is heavy. My heart is heavy, especially for the young people of this country. I have children and I have grandchildren. I would have thought that they would have grown up in a country that it would be way better than when they was growing up. It looks like a different story now. You've been faced with problem after problem after problem after problem every day with no solutions. We move ministers left, right, and center. We duplicate ministers left, right, and center. We bring in consultants left, right, and center. And at the end of the day, the problem still exists. There is nobody in the House of Assembly to stop these people from doing as they like. And that is why our mantra is to make sure that we get in the House Assembly. Because you can imagine me being in the House Assembly, in the opposition seat. Oh my God. Them create the mess, them got to clean up the mess. Because anybody that go in there as government now, God help them. Because them create the mess. So they got to clean up the mess, but they want we to help them clean up the mess. The first question I'm going to ask, as a member for St. Michael Northwest and a representative of that constituency, is to bring the report for the whole project. $60 million unaccounted for. It cannot be swept under the bush. It is my money and your money. And we have to have an account for it. The police out there, anybody carry their money, the police has sold them. I want us to hold these thieves that carry that $60 million. You say, the Prime Minister says she's going to bring a report. She bring the elections, but she ain't bring a report. They say that there's no way for a third party in Barbados, and I tend to agree with them. Third parties don't exist. But we in the third party, we is a new party ordained by God. If this country is to be run by two parties, this got to be one of them. Friends of democracy. Because we ain't going nowhere. I want to know which of the two of them going somewhere, but we ain't going nowhere. And since one in power, it seems that the other one gone. Because we ain't going nowhere. Because we can ask the questions and bring this country back to the place that it's supposed to be. Accountability. It has always been like that. Now we got some people in there that operated like in the Wild West. There's nobody in there to stop them. All one man talking about who hungry and who hungry. No checks and balances, right, Highland, in this country. You just walking around so. Money just passing left, right, and center. Money just giving back to their friends. While people in districts like this, that still some of them still living in pit toilets. Some of them are here squinting. A shame. And you take $225 million and give it to expatriates to give you jobs. And we still ain't got no jobs. $225 million. Look, $1 million is so much money. So much money. You know it's 225 of them millions? You know it's 1 and 9 knots? $1 billion you take and give to those people. And then that further on, you take $1 billion more and lick up with the national insurance. And while we stay silent and quiet, and some clowns running about saying we can paint the country red, wake up. with blood running the streets. How we could get to this point in our life that we're so dotish. You can't be so involved with the institution that doing you wrong and harm. Look at the people that run up and down the street with a red shirt on and see if you see any of the people that get back the $1 billion. Broke and hungry. Look at the people that behind the regathering and see if you see anybody that get back the $1 billion for NAS. And we standing for it and saying that is me boy and that's me girl. When God stop with that, when God to examine the issues of Barbados and do it the right way, that's why I say come here tonight with Almighty God by my side. You're either right or you're wrong. We cannot go on with this. There must be some accountability in Barbados. And we demand it. We demanded that when to stop with this ID foolishness. When they're still trying with it, but we demanded it. The first body that ever talked about it was us. Ronnie Evans was up with us then, and he championed it. And the backup offer it. See if they could remember, because we got short memories. A lot of people hold on on it after, but we, the Friends of Democracy, demanded it. We back up the tent. Our president made a statement about the tent. And the bike on hold. Some people call it the walk back. There's so many things that get pushed back and walk back. Because, look, do not forget the power that you all have. The politicians ain't got it. You got the power in your hand. Don't let them hoodwink you. Don't let them dangle the carrot at you. You don't want the carrot. You don't want the carrot. Don't let them dangle the carrot at you and then keep the whole field. Don't let it happen. The power is in your hand. Make sure that when you see any hanky-panky thing coming, you should stop that here. Explain that to me. Because that is your money. All the money that politicians spend is your money. None of them don't spend their money. They take your money. Gone are the days when politicians were politicians. And we try, Friends of Democracy, to bring it back to something that is respectable. We got too much people 1 week they're here, next week they're there. One man in St. Philip that promised to put me in court. You could bring 19,000 in court, you can't shut me up. Because I'm telling the lies by you. No, I'm scanning your name, but I can tell the truth by you. You don't worth the money. I can't use that word. Are you walking about hands in the air and dancing? Are you cursing the party that give you 3 seats? You should be shamed. You have no shame. Put me in court. Put me in court. I like to get you vexed. You're not good looking when you're smiling. So when you're vexed, you're ugly. Put me in court. Or you're probably the wrong fella. Because I can speak the truth. And you walk from one part, play a lot of games with this democracy, do Friends of Democracy. Because you start the meetings with us. I bringing it out here tonight, you know. Come on, you know who she dealing with. She knows who she dealing with. She got a way of making sport at them. And Sandy dealt with them right. If you come in here and think you can get on or you get on over there, we do things a certain way in here. He subject himself to that. After he has all, apparently to everybody, he has, it looks to me like a lucrative lawyer. Looks so to me, criminal lawyer. What is so lucrative that the Prime Minister could dangle at you that you would give up that? Because you're going to give it up if you want to be Attorney General. What is so important? I thought you come to serve. You do 3 years, 3 5-year terms. And you still coming back again after the people in your hometown reject you. They rejected you. And I am saying this not just because it's him. I talk about how politics in Barbados running. That today, if you look at the campaign in the Barbados Party, They got some the men in that running their campaign now that was higher up in the Democratic Labour Party. And I'm saying this for the young people to know, because that's why the young people say that they're not interested in politics. And they like it, so we got to get the young people interested in politics. Because politics is their life. So we can't afford to let them push the young people aside and do as they like in Barbados. The young people got to know who come out and get rid of them. Because we can't get rid of them by ourselves. This rubbish and madness got to stop. I come tonight, we talk policies early. So I ain't got no policies to talk now. I talk in politics. Who vex. Who vex. Because it is time people talk some politics in Barbados, because people frightened. I watched a press conference about 2 months ago with the Prime Minister and her entourage. And when she opened the floor to the press, because she hung up the press conference herself, she pushed the mic at the Commissioner of Police and took it back from him fast. She did all the talking. And when it was time for the press, they had about 9 or 10 press people there. And the voices that were heard were 2 people that were not born in Barbados. I don't know if you all watch these things. 2 people that were not born in Barbados were the 2 people that asked pressing questions. The Barbadian press scared. For what? Or for who? They ain't got the balls. What you frightened for? And for who? What they can do you? Or we all got to die. And if we die in Christ, we know where we going. And where do I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, because he's always with me. His rod and staff comforts me. So if you come at me and pull a gun, this bullet can stick in your hand. Because the DPP just said that they got people in Barbados killing people for $3,000. I did not say. Friends of Democracy did not say. $3,000 for a dead man. The DPs, and if you know that as a DPP, why you ain't making sure that that stop? This is question that we got to ask. Because if you know that Barbados is 166 square miles, if you're fit enough, you can run away in 2 hours. You know every village in Barbados. The police know everything in Barbados. They got the surveillance and they want more. The police, if you let go the police hand, they won't got no serial killers in Barbados. Let the police hands go. They won't got no murders in Barbados. I raised up in the Barbados where murder was rare. And we didn't have as much police with all the surveillance, but the police would catch whoever perpetrate any of these crimes. How come now all this crime going on? How come? Who's the boy that doing it? Who got the back? Ask yourself them questions. Who got their back? Because it is. I asked some friends to come to the meeting tonight. They tell me, give me the online, they won't watch it. I said, but I don't feel the same way if you're there. Yeah, but I ain't come my house, little boy, it's dangerous. That's what they tell me, it's dangerous. You could imagine that anybody over 40 years old, you thought that Barbados would ever get to this? Tell me the truth, man. We walk up the length from breakfast bars and those we like. At any hour we come out and walk as we like. You mean at this stage of our lives now that we got to be frightened and hiding? Down behind doors? And even in some districts, they're coming in the house. And you can't have the party that in power is responsible for this. Because you are the government. And if you can't run it, tell the people you can't run it and move. It ain't too hard. Now, let me get to health care. Tonight, in my limited time, I want to deal with health care and food. The 2 most important things to human beings, health care and food. We got or had a hospital that everybody in the world, especially in the Caribbean, used to come to in times of need. You all know, even recently, when the Prime Minister, former Prime Minister St. Vincent, get his head burst, the Prime Minister of Barbados flew him into Barbados to get attended to. Queen Elizabeth's Hospital had a good record. Every day in the press now, Queen Elizabeth is in the press, but not with good views. You got 2 ministers of health. The Prime Minister bypassed them and went to check out what was going on. And when we thought that she would have come back and make a report, she called election. So what she saw there was something very bad that she could not report to us what went on, but she come and called election. Now people, don't sleep on this. You got the whole project, you got the thing, you got all types of things out there hanging in the balance. And before you fix them, before you call election, you call election. And you got no reason to call election because you got all next year to call election. I can give her one quick guess. Why do you think she called election? Fighting for FOD. It going too fast and asking too much pertinent questions. The president, when the press every day, pushing at you. The president ain't talking about you're hungry, you're going to starve, you know. The president pushing the pertinent policies and questions at the government. And that is the reason for FOD, to keep the government on their toes. We can make Barbados, we can show how we can make Barbados a better place from outside here. Because if the present opposition can't do it, give us the opportunity to do it. And watch, hear me, I say, give me the job and watch me, give me the job and watch me. Go up and watch you, but watch me. God, she said watch me, we said watch me. But we cannot let the hospital be under that siege that it is under. It is no rocket science to fix the hospital. Everybody knows that action in emergency, any part of the world, is pressure. Because everybody thinks that their problem is the biggest. So it is not a cakewalk. But the problem with there that I see or I hearing about is that it does not have good management. That is the problem. And the good management comes from the government. We got polyclinics throughout, that's where the management comes, the healthcare. We got polyclinics throughout Barbados. We got 3 separate private hospitals. We do not have a problem with hospitals. We had so much hospital that we just give everyone the workers to work in there. Laborers to go down there and work in it. We ain't got a healthcare problem where it is concerned with facilities. We got a healthcare problem with management. And the management is government. The management sent 2 ministers, and whenever the Prime Minister sends 2 ministers, there is a problem. She sent 2 ministers with crime, and the crime escalated. And so it was so bad that a man that is under 40 years old in the prime of his life, who promised so much, decided to walk away from Parliament, from politics. I want to believe that. You all believe that. And we are not being told the truth. And we got to demand the truth. The people of Barbados want to spend every money. If they want the money, that's why I said that they're not special about them. You know, we will make them special. If they was going in the person and take out the money and spend it, then they'll be special. We want to spend every money. I want to cannot be money. And I would like somebody to give me a bill of the travel of the parliamentarians in Barbados. I would like that bill. Because people can't be hungry. You flying all over the world. When they got Zoom and Teams and all types of things that you could get together in the world and talk. Traveling first class on our private jet. Making us laugh and sport at people in Barbados. We got to demand that this stops. It has to stop. The multi-billions that is spent and borrowed. And we cannot give a comfort. It got to stop. You are telling me now coming up the election that you can do this, and you can do this, and you can do this, and you got to sleep. You have 7 years to do some work. I ain't see the work yet. You name some things, but I still can't see the work yet. I know you all can't see the work. Because your pockets the same way, 21% on your salary. And all of a sudden now, you bringing up all this, for election promises. We don't want the election promises from the government, you know. The opposition is supposed to bring election promises. The government should be defending their record. The government should be promising you in government. You think me foolish? I don't know they think that the people foolish. You can't promise me you in government. And if you're in government, you have a duty to deliver. I ain't delivering. 7 years. And that's why you're calling elections so quick. Because you know that you're in trouble. So you keep calling elections to keep people with the pants down. They ain't organized yet. So if this election goes 11th of February, look out that by 2029 there's going to be another election, you know. There's going to be another election, but this time, friends of democracy will be ready for government. We'll be ready for government. The Barbados Party might be the first government that ever give up and say done and tell them to take over. Because the pressure that we're going to put upon them, the pressure that we're going to apply as opposition, they're going to run out of parliament. Because the ignorance cannot continue. It just can't continue. People, I want you all to just remember some things that I say. The most important thing I say, and it won't happen in Barbados, is accountability. Do not stay quiet. You cannot be quiet. Come out in your numbers and vote for FOD. Make us make a difference in this country, because nobody else is discussing it. Nobody else is asking for accountability. We want accountability. We give you all the policies that we could handle. Now we want the accountability from the government. I hear some music playing. That's for me to calm down. Because you might tell me a green light. The light up there now. The light, but you see, I see green. They're looking for green, and I see it. So I see the green. I'm moving. Cause I looking for green. Keep the green up there. Let me see it. Good. Once I see the green, cause reach the green party. I leave you all with this. If you take raid, if you got a bump on your foot, and you get your squatters get a bump, and it grow up there, and you stick it, what does come out of it? Red and yellow. Nothing nice don't come out of it. Somebody call it pus. We just go and get some poultice or some leaf, which is green, to put over it to fix it. Good night and God bless you.
People do what when I'm talking to you. We as people do what well is to do. Raise up democracy, bringing democracy. We as people do.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, Adwele Williams, our candidate for St. Michael Northwest. And as I told you earlier tonight, that is where we will be winding up our campaign in the farm housing area on the 10th of this month. You heard her resume earlier this evening. She's a woman of God, of course, and we are promoting her as the next opposition leader in Barbados. Without doubt, I want to bring you our president. She is an attorney at law and the Friends of Democracy candidate for St. Philip West. I understand she has Kay McConney trembling in her boots. Nevertheless, I want to bring her to the stage tonight. President Karina Goodrich, Friends of Democracy.
She's the best for the West, best for the West, fighting for you, walking with you. What you got in a vote?
Karina say that you're for me walking no more. La 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 la. You won't stop walking as you get through. You won't stop walking as you get through.
Everybody who is here tonight to listen to this song. So DJ, turn it up.
Karina say that you're for me walking no more. La 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 la. You won't stop walking as you get through. You won't stop walking as you get what you want. Friends of democracy, telling truth.
No. Good night to you, St. Michael. As you know, I am Karina Goodrich, the president of the Friends of Democracy. You've heard that before. And tonight, I have come to give you a message and tell you something that the older folk would know. And that is that a stitch in time saves nine. And you know what that saying is telling you? That if you solve an immediate action, and you take that immediate action, that will save you from having to deal with a larger problem. So a stitch in time saves nine. And right now, I want every Barbadian to remember that. Because you can stitch in time before the election and save your nine. Because you don't want any problems. And you don't want any issues with having 30 seats in power and no opposition. Because one thing is sure, the political analysts can predict, and many of them are already predicting, that there is a very low chance that the opposition leader will win that seat in St. John. And because of that, you have to ensure that you secure a future by voting for Friends of Democracy, a party which will stand and be a voice in Parliament on your behalf, a party which, although has started in July of 2025, has built so much momentum, has been on the bees' back, keeping them in check, and ensuring that we speak on every possible national issue that was pressing every Barbadian in this country. We have heard the concerns of the nation. As a matter of fact, we ensured that we took the time to do what all the old-time politicians have forgotten to do, and that is to canvass this nation and meet you on the front step. And our slogan is to keep the bees in check. And keeping the bees in check, that is telling you, look, we have to ensure that there's accountability and transparency in this nation. We have to ensure that there is sufficient oversight. No more lack of transparency in this country should continue. Right now in Barbados, Oystein's money is unknown, unaccounted for. Carafesta, the results and the estimates unknown to you, Bajans. Right now, you still need much road repair in this country. The roads are bad. As a matter of fact, we lost one of our brothers in the rainwater, in the floods. And that is why we need to deal with those pressing matters with road infrastructure. That is our country. And tonight, I stand as an attorney at law, one who is proud to represent this nation with integrity and a clean slate behind me and in front of me and all around me. So I have no fear. But tonight, I hope that the PR don't be vexed at me, but I will serve notice on the Barbados Labour Party to tell the bees, stop telling lies, repudiate your comments, or be condemned by the lies that you have been telling on Miss Goodrich up in St. Philip West. I will deal with that first. I will use the words of the comrade of the BLP and say, I am not the one. Because they are lying and they are saying, oh, Miss Goodrich was a solution Barbados and she didn't help anybody. And that was a lie. But you see, as a lawyer, everything that I do and every case that I have won in this country was evidence-based.
And anytime I come out to you, Barbados, I will bring the evidence. Today, I mourn the death of one of the residents of St. Philip West by the name of Judy Hoyt. I looked back for her just today, just to help her, because she was one of the residents that told me before she died she needed help. And a lot of the politicians in this nation will not know who need help because they do not walk around and canvass and check on the very people who gave them the votes. She suffered in the house, and her brother is still alive to attest and to back me with the evidence. So when anybody go and tell lies in the West and say that Miss Goodrich didn't help, God helped the nation because I have the evidence and I have the footage and I will release. Because I will always come and tell the truth. A representative should represent. A representative must meet the standards. You should not collect a salary without serving the people. If you decide that you are serving this nation, you have to serve this nation with integrity. So I mourn the death of this lady who needed help. And I have the evidence. So when they lie, I will be here to tell the truth on behalf of every person in this nation who felt as though they were voiceless. Because it needs to end. The lies need to stop. Because you need an opposition. And the lies that are being told is to put in your mind the idea that this party cannot represent, and it is a lie from the pit of the hell. And I will have 12 churches already backing and praying for this party. Because we have to bring back the moral standard in the nation. That is important. And that is another reason why we are losing attention of our youth. Because morality is not being pushed. And I don't come to push my ideologies on you. I've come to tell you that we need to be the classic example that the youth should be able to follow. We should not lead the youth astray and then complain that there's high crime in the nation. We need to bring back Barbados to a place, to a higher standard. And that is why you have heard me speaking, and I have constantly spoke about groundbreaking legislation, because I have found that all the pieces of legislation that have been passed have been legislation that was so punitive. But yet still, there's nothing innovative and transformative for you. Every legislation seems to be so focused on money and taxes. You need something different, something groundbreaking. I've told that to residents every time that I've canvassed the nation. The time is now, because at the end of the day, if there is a social issue and women are complaining and saying, hey, there are many of us who are suffering from endometriosis or menstrual pain, why is there not a conversation? And why was there not a conversation where the government can say to themselves, well, hey, let's go to Parliament and deliberate on this. Those women who have this issue could be given a work from home day, remote day, have a day off once they show the medical certificate and show what has happened to them. We need to be considering our people. We need to understand that legislation can be transformative and it can help to solve social issues. Look at the Police Act, the amendment. When you think of that amendment, it is basically saying in Bajan terms, if you do not assist the police, then there's a high fine that you have to pay. Why is that? And that actually is going to cause people to not even want to intervene. Police who have been there serving for so long, begging for a higher salary, begging for promotion, because you know why? You need people in parliament who's going to be thinking about your needs, who is going to be thinking about you upgrading. We need to be constantly thinking about the development of Barbados and the development of every Bajan person in the country. It should no longer be about a few, but about the masses, a number of people. And we cannot continue in a place where we only find out about things through social media. I see that as a great insult. We only found out about this privatization of the transport board through a letter being leaked in the country. That is not right. There should have been consultations and discussion about it, because we are Barbadian and we know that years ago we had to deal with the whole privatization issue. Transport board emerged. And here you have elderly people who can get on the bus and pay an affordable price, or they can show their ID and get on the bus for free. Affordable prices. And you then could assure yourself that if it is privatized, if the transport board is privatized in this nation, that there is a high possibility that the prices will go up. And the question is, by how much? Because we do not know. And the Friends of Democracy stands to say we stand against it, the privatization of the transport board. There are some routes that if those routes are not lucrative to the drivers and the owners of those buses, the buses will not go to those areas. So I am here to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. If it is privatized, the prices can go up, and the businesses always want to make sure that they have a profit. Barbados, I want you to rise up and know your rights and know what is best suited for your needs. Do not be clouded by the idea of party loyalists, and do not be clouded by the idea that a mass party has all the answers for this country. There were ideas that came from this party that I can assure you that you can hear them discussing it in all the other parties. When we came up with the whole VAT idea, and we talked about abolishing the 17.5% VAT at the retail end and at the ports, because we had the discussion that you need an ease, that we understand that there are people in this nation that although they may be called middle class, you are working from month to month, and in Bajan terms, you're still bread though. So we know that your food bill is a pressing issue for you. So we decided to think of something that can take that pressure off of you. Let there be a 16% flat tax at the ports of entry on the food. Because one thing I know is that whenever you come with a policy, somebody tries to twist it and turn it. So we have to say it slowly and keep repeating it to let you know that FOD is advocating for you to have food VAT-free. We should be celebrating. We should be celebrating because we need that ease. We have discussed having the 11 food parishes in this country just for you, Barbados. And people want to steal our ideas. Even the coconut man, you have heard the policies tonight. And yes, we've been telling you about the coconut water villages so that then we can create a place where the coconut men can go and have the skillets and the skips and ensure that there's a good cleanup and they can have a toilet there. We are thinking about you. So you've heard all of our policies tonight. And Barbados, your money should mean something to you. So when the Friends of Democracy is talking about transparency, and we come out here, you hear us talking about Manifesto over and over, we're not doing it to bad talk any government. We are doing it because we understand the rule of law in this country, and we understand the rights of the citizens in this nation. And when you go to work, you understand that you have to pay taxes. So if there's a big event or celebration in this nation, you need to know what was budgeted, what was spent. If it was 100 million, 200 million, 300 million. My darling Barbadians, we are already in election modes, and we are going to the polls on the 11th of February, and you do not know what was spent. And every since September of 2025, we were waiting, and we are still waiting. Barbados, that is not good enough. You should always know, because you, the taxpayers, have to pay the taxes. It is not me by myself. It is you that I'm looking at here, you that surround me right here in St. Michael, each and every one of you. Each and every one of you are the ones who have to pay the bills. And that is why in this country, I will advocate also that with all the discrepancies that have been going on and all the complaints from the people of the nation concerning not being prepared for the elections, that Barbados should ensure that it has fixed term elections. And I hope that you will celebrate that. Because if you have a government that is doing what it should do, they don't have to have no political advantage by calling an election early. Everyone will be prepared, and I strongly believe that when the votes are at a certain polling station, they should be counted at that station. That removes all doubt that there's any meddling with the election. These are the conversations that we need. These are the talks that our minds should have, because it helps Barbados to ensure democracy. We need to bring back true democracy in this island. And if you continue to have 30 red and ready seats, and ready for what, I don't know, then you are the persons that will wonder what is happening when April comes and there is a budget in the nation and no one standing on the other side because the Barbadian public has decided no. But I know different. I know that we got the bees in check. I know that they are recognizing that Friends of Democracy is building momentum. Barbados, make some noise now. Let them know we are building momentum. The young girl outside at St. Michael has come out to support this cause, because we are looking out for our country. We are looking for a better Barbados, a better nation. And that is why, as part of our nation, we need to push local production as much as possible. And we need to protect our farmers. And I can tell you a joke tonight. Some people may not like my jokes, but I still laugh at my own. There was a woman who told me one night, and she said to me, look, I have a man, and he comes at me, and he eats all of my good food. The macaroni pie, the chicken, everything. And he don't give me no money. So all the brekkies make some noise. Or the place quiet.
He don't give she no money, but he won't eat all the food. So she said one day I planned for it. She said all I gonna cook today is the ground provisions. I cook the yam, I cook the sweet potato, and I ain't put no gravy. When my man come and he went to the pot, he lick his fingers and he eat all. And he said, darling, this was the sweetest food I ever tasted that you cook, ain't it? So you see where I'm going with that? No political joke time. Push local food production in the country. It will help. If it don't help your relationship to keep you healthy, it will help you and it will help somebody. So that is what you need to remember. The farmers need help. The farmers can't be forgotten. We need to push agriculture. We should be selling our products all over the place to other nations. It is essential. Look at how many health issues there are. I met a resident today, and he told me that when he had to go for an eye operation, that he sat 4 hours and then was told it's not today. And that is the issue that we are seeing right now at the hospital. And you see, that is why we keep advocating Barbados needs another hospital. Whether it's centrally located or in the north, you need help. Too many of our citizens are sitting at the hospital for long hours and not being attended to. Too many of our citizens are waiting long for surgeries, and for years they are still waiting there. That is your brother, that is your sister, that is your uncle, that is your aunt who is at the hospital for so long, just waiting for assistance and help. Many times you wonder in your mind, where do you get the money from? Where did they get the money from where they're having the discussion about the tourism, accommodation, growth fund, diversification bill? The economic growth fund, diversification bill. Where are they going to get that money from? The same consolidation fund. But then when you need money for something to help you for better health and better life, they find all the excuses. But that is why I am here to help you, because you need that help. You need a voice, a spokesperson who's going to remind you of what you need. I keep reminding people there's a difference between perception and reality. Your perception is that the masses have it all together and that they are going to solve your issues, but they do not. And that is why you see candidates coming out here talking about the walk back government. Because many a time, they will come up with an idea on legislation, and when you, the Bajan public, push back, then they have to then go backwards and say, okay, we will now have consultations, when they should have done it in the first place. The tent law never solved the crime. You people who have never committed a crime had to go and expect yourself to take the tent off of your vehicle. Why was a directive not given that if the police has to stop some car that has tint heavy on the windows, that you just pull down the car window, sir, put your hand behind your back, sir, and follow directives of the police officer? Did the police ever complain and say that they wanted this tint legislation? Do we have any survey that shows that many of our crimes were committed by persons who were driving cars with a heavy tint? Well, I'm here to remind you, Barbados, to think, not just because people sit and call themselves governmental officials or MPs, that we just take everything that they bring to the table. I want you to be constantly thinking about the matters, because it is you that will end up struggling. How did the tint law solve the issues? And that is why the Friends of Democracy is saying abolish the foolish, ignorant laws in the country now. Stop pressuring the people with nonsensical laws that don't solve issues. Go into the parliament and think up of ideas that will actually help people's lives.
no conversation with overseas countries about how these young people can work remotely. Because although they have the degree, they are still not paid for the degree. Is that encouragement for someone who don't have a degree? So you get the degree and you brag, but then no money to back up the degree. Some places won't pay you at all for the degree that you got from the University of the West Indies. And worse, the people who are at work and working for a whole year, then you want to tell me that you still tax the bonus? A bonus? A thank you from the boss? You still have to take out taxes out of the bonus? These are things that we should be advocating for. I have been advocating our policy for the elderly and saying the pensioners have it hard. The pensioners have it hard. And sometimes the only friend the pensioners know is their pension check. So take the taxes off of the pension check. Because I have met pensioners in this land, Barbados, who are still paying mortgages. And worse, some that owe the credit union cannot even survive because the credit unions are then taking back the money that they had owed from before out of the same pension. And you are not marching the streets for better. You are just walking along merrily, saying yes, yes, red and ready, walking up at every fete and taking the money to vote. I hope that if you take the money, you don't vote for them. Put it in your pocket and take it as the service that you should be paid for. Because there is too much lack of representation in the different constituencies of Barbados. And I will repeat myself. I am a good, bad girl. I have the evidence. I have the evidence of every voter apathy. So again, when they put their mouth on me, I have the church backing and I have the evidence to show that when I say they are not representing people and they need supervision, and I have to blame the leader of the party, I am sorry. Because at the end of the day, there must be some supervision of them. You must have a report knowing what they have done for the people. We need to know, because there's no way that you have the tourists confused when the tourists asking me if 2 BLP ministers are running in the same area, because you have the prime minister on the poll and then you have the member as a candidate on the same poll, got the tourists confused. Because you are telling them to vote for you everywhere. Because you know very well that you are saying, vote for me everywhere because the Bajans can vouch for you. But you know that they can't vouch for the representatives who have misled them, who have lied to them, gave them promises that were unfulfilled. And that is why that song, Barbados, I want it to resonate in your mind. Because many times when they get elected and they get what they want, after they use you and make you walk with them all through the streets, they may pay you no mind no more. When the election bell ring and they hear their name, they tell themselves, I don't need them no more. And that is why I remind you, you need the right policies. You need to remember not to be no hand-to-mouth person. You need to recognize that you demand more. You demand more because national security in this nation is a problem. And we are alive today and we are thankful. But there are too much stray bullets in the nation that bothers the minds of the people. Too many have died. 2025 had a high number of deaths. And that is why we need to bring back a lot of boot camps and mentorship for the youngsters. And remind them that there are opportunities. And when a lot of them are not working, we need to remind them that, look, there's opportunities for you to work remotely. You don't even have to leave home. Too many problems bother our youth, and they get led in the wrong direction. And of course, if the nation makes everything about dancing and walking up, it is a national distraction. It is a distraction to show you, look, this is fun. But then you miss the sneaky bills that sneak in around the Christmas. You miss those because you get so distracted by them. So Barbados, the time is now for you to remember why you exist. And I want to let you know our philosophy. I want to read it to you as clear as I can. The Friends of Democracy is guided by a binding philosophy of empowerment and ownership, transforming renters into landlords, employees into employers, borrowers into lenders, and the landless into the land rich. It aims to move people from poverty as much as possible to property, from dependence to self-determination, through the creation of an enabling environment for generational wealth accumulation, the reinforcement of trust, honesty, and shared responsibility, and the establishment of a duty-free regime that gives entrepreneurs access to critical goods and services. The Friends of Democracy envisions a Barbados where prosperity is not inherited by a few, but built by many. And our role in opposition will be to hold the government accountable, but also to contribute solutions, propose legislation, and present better alternatives where the country needs them. We believe Barbadians deserve more than criticism alone. They deserve choices, clarity, and a roadmap for progress, whether in government or opposition. Friends of Democracy is committed to sharing our plans openly and working in the national interest, because leadership is about preparation and not just position. Leadership is about serving you, the people. You should not go out on the 11th of February and vote for any representative who you have not seen in the last 7 years. Because if you haven't seen them in the last 7 years, you are giving them a BW ticket to fly away, to not see you for the next 5 years. The BWIA better walk if able. Better walk if able. Better walk if able. Because at the end of the day, they are not going to walk to you when you give them that vote. And they will advocate against the Friends of Democracy, whether at a spot meeting, cleverly, without promoting our name, because they know we are a new party. But you see, R12 coming powerful. And R12 will make history in this nation. And R12 will promote our policies. And R12 will give you proper representation, because I am leading. And I know I have to give honor where honor is due. And I will beg up on this platform Mr. Steve Blackett. And you know why? You know why? There are many other people who they would not back you and mentor you. And it is good to acknowledge good acts of faith, that when you have served your time and you have made it to where you wanted to go, and now you pave the way and support the ones that you have confidence in, that they will support this nation and make Barbados proud. Blow it up. Because you know why? We are a serious people. And I will remind you tonight that when I tell you there are people who are hurt in this country, I mean it. And I tell you, I reassure you, every Bajan, that I have the evidence of hurt people who are so hurt that they will stand boldly and attest without hiding and speak out and say, I stand with you, Miss Goodrich. We need people like you, and we need people like the members and the Friends of Democracy who would clean houses, aspiring politicians who would clean the houses of people before they even get in. They will look out for the residents of St. Lucie who have been suffering from receiving brown water for so long. And members of this party got up, got the waters, and said, how can I help my brothers and sisters in Barbados? And they went straight down to St. Lucie. People who live in St. Philip, I know they have people that live in St. Philip who probably never even visited St. Lucie because some think that it is too far. But we went there. We went there and we advocated that they should take the 50% off of that bill. We said, take off something now. Stop burdening the people. They already have to pay a water bill and still have to expense themselves by having to go to the supermarket to get clean water to wash, to get clean water to cook, and to get clean water to bathe in, because the water that was coming from the pipe was brown. Brown water, brown like Mobby, brown like whatever adjective you choose to use, but it was brown. And it was unacceptable, because what is for one person who resides in St. Philip should be the same for another person who resides in St. Lucie. And if St. Philip will have clean water, the same should be for St. Lucie. Why should St. Lucie have to accept brown water? And then people come out to say that you can drink that water. I beg you to drink it yourself. And drink it with ice too. Because it is unacceptable. And these are the things that you should be advocating for and standing with the Friends of Democracy to say it is wrong and wrong is wrong. Right is right and wrong is wrong. No in between. And that is what we need to accept. So our candidates have been working. I don't know about the other emerging parties, but I can attest today that every candidate here has been working, has been going from doorstep to doorstep. And I know for myself that if they think that it is a race, I'm going to tire them out by going to every house. I have said it on TV, and I have said certain areas that I went to because I want to keep them jogging, because every politician needs to get up and work. Get up and work for your paycheck. Get up and work. I mean it. Barbados, I leave that message with you tonight. You need proper representation, and you need an opposition, a strong opposition. One with integrity and character. One who's not going to be afraid to speak out in Parliament. One who's going to keep the bees in check. Keep them in check. Keep them accountable. We said no to lack of transparency. We said no to lack of accountability. We said enough is enough. So when you go to the polls, I want you to remember the words of Miss Goodrich and the words of our candidates. And when you go to vote, I want you to be singing the same song that I'm singing tonight. And that is the song of our opposition in this land. So I love you, St. Michael. God bless Barbados. And God bless this nation. Get home safe. And remember, keep the bees in check.
Keeping the bees in check. Oh, na na na. Hey, stand up, Barbadians. Let me take back we respect. Time to rise up, time to step. We keeping the bees in check. Check, 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 check. Keeping the bees in check. No more thing on the people neck. We standing strong, we won't defect. Barbados, rise up, show respect. Check, check. Keeping the bees in check. From St. Lucie straight down to St. Philip West. We guarding the highway ready. We respect friends of democracy. Keeping bees in check. But we hearing the truth. People waking up from the long time snooze. No more pollen talk. Time to inspect the whole life shaking when we keeping bees in check. Keeping the bees in check. No more sting on the people neck. We standing strong, we won't defect. Barbados rise up, show respect. Eh. Keeping the bees in check. From St. Lucie straight down to St. Philip West. We guarding the highway ready. We said friends of democracy keeping bees in check. No more flying around the world while the island stress. No more leaving poor people in a hot mess. We want real honey, not fancy speeches to impress. We want justice sweet, no, not bitter progress. So let we march, let we chant, let we reconnect. From the youth to the elders, we all interject. This country deserve love, not constant neglect. And we right here steady, keeping bees in check. Keep me bees in check, keeping the bees in check. No more sting on the people neck. We rising up, we won't defect. Barbados strong, show intellect. Eh. Keeping the bees in check. Every parish, every district, yes, a new kind of buzz, a new project. Friends of democracy, keeping bees in check. Hey, hold the line, Barbados. If the bees can't do the job, we go regulate the hive. Keeping the bees in check. Keeping the bees in check. Check, 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 check. Keeping the bees in check.
Oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, it was a pleasure here to bring you this wonderful candidates and manifesto presentation here at Howard Supermarket Car Park in Bush Hall. Keep the music going, guys. Keep the music going.
Keeping the bees in check. Oh, na na na. Hey, stand up, Barbadians. Let me take back we respect. Time to rise up, time to step. We keeping the bees in check. Check, 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 check. Keeping the bees in check. No more thing on the people neck. We standing strong, we won't defect. Barbados, rise up, show respect. Check, check. Keeping the bees in check. From St. Lucie straight down to St. Philip West. We guarding the highway ready. We respect friends of democracy. Keeping bees in check. But we hearing the truth. People waking up from the long time snooze. No more pollen talk. Time to inspect the whole life shaking when we keeping bees in check. Keeping the bees in check. No more sting on the people neck. We standing strong. We won't defect. Barbados rise up, show respect.
Those valuable viewers on our stream, we, Friends of Democracy, hope you are enriched and informed by what you heard and saw right here tonight from our candidates and manifesto launch. We encourage you to inwardly imbibe, absorb, and consume the content of our meeting here tonight. We encourage you on February 11th, Election Day, to go out in your numbers and elect every one of our 12 candidates. Vote for a strong and potent opposition. Vote for the Friends of Democracy, and let's keep the bees in check. Don't forget us to remind you that on Tuesday, the 3rd of February, we will be at Husbands Development, New Development, and holding a national meeting in support of our candidate over there. Of course, come out and support us in your numbers. It was a pleasure being your master of ceremonies for this night meeting, and we will see you very shortly. I'm Steve Blackett. Good night.
Keeping the bees in check. Oh, na na na. Hey, stand up, Barbadians. Let me take back we respect. Time to rise up, time to step. We keeping the bees in check. Check, 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 check. Keeping the bees in check. No more thing on the people neck. We standing strong, we won't defect. Barbados, rise up, show respect. Check, check. Keeping the bees in check. From St. Lucie straight down to St. Philip West. We guarding the highway ready. We respect friends of democracy. Keeping bees in check. But we hearing the truth. People waking up from the long time snooze. No more pollen talk. Time to inspect the whole life shaking when we keeping bees in check. Keeping the bees in check. No more sting on the people neck. We standing strong, we won't defect. Barbados rise up, show respect. Eh. Keeping the bees in check. From St. Lucie straight down to St. Philip West. We guarding the highway ready. We said friends of democracy, keeping bees in check. No more flying around the world while the island stress. No more leaving poor people in a hot mess. We want real honey, not fancy speeches to impress. We want justice sweet. connect